You want to do a little promotion here? That's one of the best things about this podcast, honestly, is that every single week when we do it, we're just talking about the most random thing imaginable for it to start. Usually it's like, we're live? We're live?
Yeah, it is like that. Well, no one really... are you supposed to count down like 3, 2, 1 live?
That's what Joe Rogan does.
I mean, usually we'll just talk about the most... Yeah, like you said, the most random thing, and then we just...
Right.
Live?
And then it's like, holy shit, we were just talking about that on camera. We're going to jail.
You know what I like about your hair right now?
What?
You have this like, is it like greasers or whatever? You have this one like hangy.
Oh, do I?
Yeah,
This didn't take long. I
like
actually,
it.
I'm going to be
I like
totally
it.
honest. Let's talk about my hair.
I like it.
So while I was just on vacation in Laguna, and while we were out there, it's called the baby moon. You ever heard of that?
Is that like, the last honeymoon before you take care of the baby?
The baby moon is when you go and you spend one last blissful weekend, in this case 4 days together before the baby pops out. Josh, you have a baby moon? No, he didn't have a baby moon. The baby was not mooned. But for me, yeah, that was a little weird. But no, everybody going to Tulum and shit, like, oh man,
I hate that that's such a hot spot.
it's crazy how that happened, because I went there in January and
I remember when you guys went.
I didn't know that it was like Tulum, like the fucking place where everyone was gonna go. And now because of COVID, it's like the one place where people can actually go. So why I see a picture of AD, OT Genesis, Lil Keed, and Busta Rhymes
I love it.
kicking it in a club or some shit in Tulum. I thought that was so funny that there's only so many places to go. So of course, like this super random group of people that would probably never really be kicking it just happens to be all there. Like that reminds me of like, do you ever see the Office episode where they go on, Jim and Pam go on vacation and then they come back and they have these friends, Frank and Beans? You know what I'm talking about? They basically it's like a joke about the fact that when you go on vacation, you meet people that you would never hang out with normally, and they become like your best friends because you're on vacation. And then you get back from vacation, and if you ever try to kick with them again, then it's kind of like, why did we love them so much? Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure that Busta Rhymes and AD would get along great normally, but yeah, this like Tulum is just blown out. I seen Wayno tweet, he goes, they turned Tulum into Dykeman. Oh God. Which is
guess who's going to Tulum in 4 weeks?
Are you really?
Yes.
It's amazing, honestly. It's a great.
I heard
great
it's
place.
amazing, but the fact that it's so like blown up and Corona and everything is like making me feel weary about it. But I mean, I've only heard good things about it. So
from my experience, super nice beaches, lots of good restaurants, lots of like actual like really legit ass. Like we went to a lot of Mexican restaurants that were fire out there, like crazy good food and shit. And like it is blown out, but it's like it's still a good place to go. This is just like, but I also can't imagine going there and just running into like a ton of rappers. That would blow my mind.
Guess who else is there right now?
Who?
Joe Budden and the crew.
They're all in Tulum?
Tulum right now, chilling on vacation.
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Right. I wish I was there when they were there.
If I was on the beach and I just saw Maul and Rory and Joe Budden sitting there in some beach chairs and Parks, but you can't see him. No, I seen a picture of him the other day.
He's off camera.
Yo, do you agree with me that it feels kind of weird when you see Parks because you're so used to not seeing him?
I still kind of don't know what he looks like. I just remember when they did like their tour and they had this like video promotion and then he was in it and I was like, who's that?
Well, they did a photo, I think it was like a mugshot thing of them all standing against a wall.
Yeah.
But you kind of...
that's the promo.
Right. You kind of get why Joe wouldn't want him on camera because like having a gigantic white man there, like just, it seems like he looks huge. Like it just seems like that would kind of change like the on-camera vibe. But I wonder if it's his choice. Have you ever heard them talk about why he's not on camera?
I was just going to bring that up because there's a way that they can fit him in without it looking too weird, like how they're in the chair, the sofa, and then Maul here, they can have him like more in the back so he doesn't look so large. But isn't he engineering it? So maybe he's doing like this shit, but also has a mic.
Oh, is he engineering as well? Because that would make sense.
Yeah, they always talk about him being the engineer. But like,
that's a really good point. He's like the Jamie.
Is that Joe Rogan's? That's
Joe Rogan's guy.
But don't they have a camera on him?
Sometimes? They used to be able to switch to Jamie, but I haven't seen it in forever.
I don't really watch a lot of Joe Rogan, I'm going to be honest.
I feel like Joe Budden would... if I'm Joe Budden, I would feel pretty good about 2/3 African-American, 1/3 white Irish guy. That, to me, that's like a good ratio. And then you got another white guy, but he's off camera. Like it seems like that. I don't know.
It's like half a white guy.
Sometimes you see his hand, so it's like a little bit more than 33%.
I've never seen his hand. I don't watch YouTube.
Never seen Parks' hand? You see?
I told you I listen on Spotify.
Isn't it exciting that you're going to be able to just watch the Joe Budden show on YouTube as soon as it comes out now, and you don't have to fucking log into Spotify for some reason?
No, because I don't care, because I don't watch it on YouTube. I don't like the ads. I don't like that when they listen to music, you can't hear it. Like, they like silence. I don't like that.
That's the best thing they had going.
Yeah, it's a weird,
on Spotify.
It's a weird.
Just being able to do that, that's nice. YouTube, not the same.
I don't love listening to the sleepers, so I usually end it before they get to that. But like when I watch stuff on YouTube and they're talking about a song and they're all like vibing out and it's like silent, it's such a weird thing to watch.
It took me a little bit to realize that that was what was happening. Yeah. But sometimes, like, honestly, when they play music and like you actually see Joe, and by the way, LOL at us getting into this fandom, which we can do because House Phone is at least 20 something minutes late. We actually don't even know if he is aware that it is Tuesday. We don't even know if he knows that he has a podcast that he does every Tuesday. But I don't think he's ever seen the Joe Budden podcast. So
yeah, he would have nothing to provide to this conversation.
Yeah, he'd be like, "What? Joe Budden from Pump It Up? That's crazy."
I'm just thinking about what he would say. Fuck, I really hope he shows up today. That'd be crazy.
If he doesn't, it'd be kind of trippy. Yeah, like what could happen in his life that he wouldn't show up? And do you think he would be honest about it, or you think he would be like, "Oh, sorry, someone in my family had a seizure"? Or you think he would just come up with like a creative excuse? Because I feel like this is not like working at PacSun. Like, you can't just be like, "Yo, my grandmother was in the hospital." Like, somebody
I took my dog to the vet.
The fans will figure out that his grandma wasn't in the hospital, and they will not be happy with his lying.
I wonder if he's just sleeping, because that's usually what it is from partying the night before. But like, it's 6 p.m.
You've partied too much if you can't be functional by Tuesday night. Like, I totally understand if Monday is kind of a wash. Once like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're like performing experiments on your body with drugs and alcohol. It's like kind of understandable that Monday you're not going to be feeling too good, but Tuesday night you're still going to be washed up. That's bad.
If you're sleeping at 6 p.m., like, you are an absolute fucking waste youth.
Oh my God. There were times in my life where I realized what a piece of shit I was, because I would be going to bed and I'd be setting my alarm for like 2 p.m. And I'd be like, that's crazy. I'm shit. I'm a bad, crappy, unrealized human being right now.
When did you stop doing that?
I stopped drinking and doing drugs probably about 2 years ago. So,
damn, before then you were waking up at 2?
No, but like occasionally, you know. And I remember I missed a community day and I didn't get a shiny sunglasses Squirtle. Oh, so great. That was because of cocaine, and that kind of sucked. I thought
community day was like a day you go out into the community and like plant flowers. You're talking about fucking Pokemon Go.
No, you go out as a group. Wow, Josh just got a shiny Dunsparce. That's insane. I got one the other day. How do you see that from all the way over there? He pointed it at me. I knew what it was. I got the instincts. I caught one a couple weeks ago. So welcome to the club, brother.
Don't give a fuck about Pokemon Go. Sorry.
What?
Sorry, don't care.
Abandoning your culture.
Don't care. Last time House Phone didn't show up, we usually have a substitute, which is Yuri. Do you still want to do that, or should we just set us two?
I mean, when you have Yuri on here, you're kind of just like asking to open up his, like, you know, you want to talk about him being clueless, or like a House Phone being clueless about the Joe Budden podcast. Yuri is clueless to absolutely everything that has happened to the world. Ever.
He's gonna be like Ace Family or something.
No, he'll be like, "Oh, this one guy on Twitch who has 50 views, like, he fucking said that too." And I'm gonna be like, "Yuri, I'm gonna throw you off a building if you say something about some random Twitch streamer again."
You know what he might know about, and I don't know if you know about. Did you know Nelk got their YouTube partnership taken away?
They did.
That's just crazy.
It is crazy, but also I did feel like, you know, I haven't been the harshest person in terms of the COVID thing, but I do feel like them having these large gatherings is just kind of like obviously going to attract that kind of energy. And I wasn't really that surprised. It seems like it's a little foolish for them, given that they have like 5 million plus subscribers. I don't know.
I get it, and I agree that it's dangerous for the young people that watch them, but who is YouTube to tell them like how to live their life?
Right. I mean,
because that's the thing that I'm getting kind of like weary about all these different social media platforms. It's like private companies that are they're making their own rules for the people that are on their platform. You know, it's not. I don't know.
But I think where
can they draw the line?
But this is a little different because, okay, I'm quite offended by Boosie not being able to have another Instagram, just because it seems like that ban is permanent. And I think that the idea that Boosie would just be able to be banned from Instagram with all the deals that he was doing in his DMs and stuff, like if Instagram were to say, "Boosie, you are officially in Instagram prison. You cannot post for 6 months, but you can still use your DMs and you can still use it to view. That I would consider an acceptable punishment. Like, okay, you posted a naked woman's vagina on Instagram, which I'm assuming is probably at least one of the things that Boosie has done. Then you get a warning. You can't use it for a day. Whatever. There needs to be a more organized court of how this works. In the case of Nelk, I feel like they had their monetization removed. Realistically, it's probably going to be back within, I would say, a month or two. Like but they would have to stop doing what they have been doing. I agree that the idea of them being removed from the revenue program, like they could still post.
Yeah.
They just can't get the good paying ads. I mean, Instagram's a little different because you're not making money off it either way.
So keep in mind remember that Nelk, do they even care about not having ads? Because they said that they always get demonetized anyways, and that's why they push their merch so much.
Yeah, and they make like millions of dollars every time they drop merch, so I don't think they're like super worried about it. And YouTube's already been kind of like burying a lot of the Nelk content because it is so edgy. But yeah, I mean, them having their revenue removed for a few weeks or whatever, like I also wonder if Shane Dawson got his back. Because they took his way too
during
all that stuff, but like they did it to Keemstar a while back too because he fucking he was beefing with Ethan from H3 so hard, and I guess like they took some. I think there was something in one of his videos where there was like a cartoon depiction of someone being shot or something. It was like a depiction of violence. They took it as a threat, so Christ. Keemstar didn't get any like monetization for a few weeks, which. You know, like I felt like it was kind of unfairly applied in that case, but I get that. Boosie just not being able to have an Instagram is just bananas to me. Like, I don't know how the fuck they feel like they can get away with that.
So I know that he got banned, but do you know what it was for? Was it like a vagina, you said?
I'm pretty sure it's just nudity over and over and over. I don't think Boosie's doing he's not doing drug stuff on there. There's no violent stuff on there, but there's definitely lots of naked girls for sure.
Because I mean, that's the same shit as House Phone not getting his Twitter back.
But wasn't that just about him saying the hard R?
Yeah, but I'm just saying like they're just banning people for their actions on the platform.
Ever been an example of the social media gods being just completely out of control? That seems like a pretty clear example that House Phone, a black man, is not allowed to have Twitter because he used the N-word in the context of a joke. This seems like indefensible. I have no idea how. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe he did something worse than that, but that just seems like insane.
I think Blasey got deleted the same week as House Phone.
For what?
I think he said something really stupid to like in a DM like "LOL, go KYS" or something like that, and he's gonna get mad if he sees this. And I'm
in a DM
or just something stupid like jokingly like to a friend, something along the lines, and he's gonna get mad. I already know because I'm saying the story completely wrong, but
that's crazy.
Something along the lines of a joke that was offensive.
KYS, I'll do it these days.
Or something. I don't know.
That seems insane.
Yeah, but he got deleted the same like week.
Does the name Kristopher Caldwell ring a bell to you? He's the crying Nazi. There was like basically this meme. There was a guy who a couple of years ago, he was just this like super ignorant, like skinhead, like racist dude or whatever. And he was like viral, like over and over and over for just doing stupid shit on social media. And then he ended up getting caught up in that like the Charlottesville march.
Was he the one that got punched?
No, that's Richard Spencer.
Why do you know all these Nazis' names?
Well, I read an article about it. Actually, those are only two of the ones I could really name. But the Kristopher Caldwell dude, he is on trial right now in New Hampshire because he messaged another white supremacist on Twitter, on Telegram, which is the only, because apparently...
That's the one that's encrypted or whatever, no?
Right, because apparently that's like the only social media network that once you're like a real hardcore Nazi, you get kicked off everything. That's the only one you have left. He told another Nazi that if he didn't expose another Nazi whose identity was completely private, he told him, I'm going to fuck your wife unless you turn over this person's identity. And he's right now on trial and is facing 27 years for criminal threats or some shit because he said, I'm going to fuck your wife if you don't tell me this other person's identity. Is it just me? Like, I have no sympathy for this guy, but doesn't it seem like a very weird thing to go on trial for? Because in order for it to be treated like a real criminal threat, like saying, I'll fuck your wife, like, you don't have any means or capacity by which to fuck his wife. And like, that's just such a strange thing to be on trial for, I think. So I understand they wanted to throw the guy in jail, but I mean,
first of all, fuck Nazis.
Right.
And two, what about all the rappers that threaten each other to shoot each other?
Oh yeah, can you imagine?
Imagine every single one.
Yeah, you never hear about that. All these Chicago dudes. Yeah.
Okay, and also wait, I'm still shook about. I'm pretty sure Telegram. No, never mind. It might be Signal. It's not Telegram, because if I'm not mistaken, Telegram is kind of like a WhatsApp type app. It's not like a social media app. It's just sending messages. And I remember he who must not be named, who's a drug dealer friend of ours, was gonna give me like a Molly Connect, and the only way I could talk to the Molly Connect was through Telegram.
Wow.
And so now I'm like, maybe it's not safe.
I don't know. Somehow
Maybe
those
I'll get
conversations were
27
leaked.
years.
I don't know what you have to do to get Telegram to turn over messages. I've never even heard of Telegram until I was reading about this guy last night.
Pretty sure it's Telegram. I don't know.
But that's what's crazy is that this dude who, I don't know how big he ever was, but they kicked him off Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, etc. Like,
Kristopher?
Yeah, like he basically doesn't exist anymore because there's only this one platform that he's able to even do any kind of content on. Because he got banned from Gab, which is like the super white power friendly social network. Like you can be a Nazi on Gab. You have to really like threaten serious violence to get banned from there.
What was he going viral for? And why is he the crying Nazi? Was he crying in his videos?
Yeah, because he was about to get arrested for something else, so he like went on live stream, like he had like a live feed type thing, and because he was about to get arrested, he like sort of like let down his whole like tough guy Nazi thing and just like, started bawling his eyes out, and so it just became this like huge meme because everybody thought it was so funny to see him crying, which I don't even actually think I saw the video of him crying, but it's kind of crazy because this guy's on trial for his life now and nobody even cares. It's not like in the news at all. I read like on some random ass website. I just randomly saw this article about it and I was like, man, what the fuck happened to that guy? Like around 2016, you would have thought that there was like a new Nazi in the news every day of all these like internet like white power guys.
Yeah.
And it feels like they all like none of them like rose through the ranks and became like a big well-known thing. Like every single one of them, you barely, like they all have had horrible things happen to them. You never hear about them in the media anymore. It's almost like the media kind of realized like, oh, if we keep
talking
covering
about
these guys, we're making them famous and maybe that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, back to my hair.
I don't like that quick switch up because then I just thought about Nazi hair.
Do the Nazis still claim this haircut? Because I remember that was a thing for a while.
I know they claimed the one hand signal that I'm not gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually saw a picture of Joe Biden doing that today. I mean, I'm sure he didn't mean anything by it. But yeah, when I was in Laguna, I had a guy I met on Instagram come through and give me a haircut in the bathroom of the hotel.
I love that.
Loved it. Great haircut experience.
How do you know if it's someone that you could trust?
He seemed like he had a job, so I figured, you know. And what are the odds, even if he was crazy, like what are the odds that he's going to like be able to get past all the security and the valet at the hotel?
No, what if he's in your room and like just gets the scissors and just stabs your neck?
Oh, that could have happened, yeah.
You know?
Wow, that would be a level of dedication. I didn't even think about that, yeah.
There's
I was
crazy
picturing him
people out
coming
here.
back afterwards to kill me.
Nah, they can't do that. Once they're in, though, it's like the vampire. You can't invite them in.
Yeah, once you're in, you're in. That's a good point. Maybe he will kill me. I plan on actually getting my haircut by this guy more frequently, so hopefully he'll allow me to live. I'm just imagining him watching it now, being like, "I'm not a murderer.
Sorry, barber."
I haven't killed anyone."
He's probably just like this nice, just barber guy that likes cutting hair.
Yeah, seemed totally nice. Seemed like he was just like.
Isn't it nice when they give you like these little, I don't know, whatever they do, like the massage thing that they go like this or something?
He didn't rub any product in my beard, although Lena did get me some hair product and beard cream.
Yeah, you need to do it. Your hair before was very scraggly and like. Ooh.
Oh yeah, I didn't get a haircut for like months prior to this one. Like I just fucking fully let it go. It was just bushy as fuck. I was every single thing I was eating was getting in my beard. It was like brushing my teeth. All of a sudden I'm having to like fucking completely
You wash your whole face.
Just douse my face in water afterwards because I was just getting way too much fucking. Yeah, it was bad.
Okay, really dumb question. Why do you think that your beard hairs and your pube hairs are like the same texture instead of the hair on your head?
Well, number one, I think it's interesting that you assumed that about my pubes, but yeah, I guess I would say
You know what I mean? It's more thick and coarse and like I said, scraggly.
Yeah, what is it about hair, like head hair, that makes it such
like
a different
fine.
texture? Yeah.
Like imagine if your beard hair was like your hair, it's just like sticking down, and like you straighten it.
Yeah, that would be pretty terrible. No, that's a good point. Pubes are like hay. They're all just dry. Do people do anything to make their pubes have better texture? I've never.
There was a thing going on with girls where they did vajacials.
Where they had the actual vagina
Vagina
redesigned,
facial.
right?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, you're talking about just the hair?
I guess if you have hair there, but then also your vagina walls and stuff, I think they like facialize it.
Really?
Or something. Put product on it. I don't know.
The walls on the inside?
Okay, I don't know about the inside. I don't know too much about these visuals, but I know like it was vagina facial. So they like put product in it, and like I guess if you have hair, they put things in it.
I used to have a girlfriend back in the day who was totally convinced that she wanted to get her labia reduced in size.
Labia is the...
That's amazing that you don't know. It's the labia is the lips of the vagina.
Really? I thought people usually get the middle. No, the clit.
What are they going to do to the clit?
No, because some girl, you've never seen that. I've actually watched documentaries on
clit
it
surgery
where they had to reduce it because it hangs out too much and like people make.
That's what I'm talking about. Like the fucking vagina lips of this girl who I was seeing. Who, I mean, to be honest, like when I think about it now, it probably was completely fine. But she had been convinced that like she wanted to get this surgery to actually snip that shit down and make the lips smaller and less hangy.
Yeah, I've watched documentaries on girls and then they've showed the thing. Or like pictures of it.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, and it's like very low hanging.
It was weird to be having that conversation with her. Like, no, please don't chop your own labia off.
This was your girlfriend?
Yeah, for a little while.
Okay. Well, at least she was comfortable enough to tell you that.
It didn't make me comfortable. I felt bad for her. Like, wow, you've been really brainwashed by this world into thinking that there's only one acceptable labia style.
Yeah, you know what? That's good that you were like not shaming her into getting it, because I'm sure that the reason why she wanted to get it was because she was made fun of before by other guys. You know?
I actually think that I might have been the only sole reason why she thought that there was something wrong with her vagina.
Did you say something?
I didn't say something? God, this is so embarrassing.
What? She took off her pants and you went...
No, but at the time, this is back in the day. I was literally like a teenager. There was I didn't have my own laptop at this time. I had to use her computer. I wrote a quick email to my friend. I don't even think I had a cell phone at this time. Or if I did, it was like, I wasn't texting. But my friend asked me like how the trip was going. And I said, it's great. Her vagina's a little hangy, but she's cool. I'll see you when I get back. I think that was basically what I said.
You're a piece of shit.
I know. And then I forgot to hit send. And she brought it up like weeks later that she saw the email. And I was just like petrified because, I mean, clearly that was the last thing on earth that I would have wanted her to know that I was actually saying to my friend. I was very young.
You're a piece of shit.
Yeah, I really like when I think about it now, God, that really hurt.
I hope she's okay now.
Yeah, I hope that she never had her vagina lopped off. That would be really fucked up.
That sounds fucking painful. I don't even know what the healing process would be like.
I don't know if we want to go deeper and deeper into this, but do you know about penis injections?
Is that like pumping it?
Yeah, they fill it with like some kind of like oil or like synthetic liquid type stuff.
What, like cement?
I don't think cement is really a liquid.
Because it's like butt implants.
No, but basically like, if you ever see a porn dude and it kind of seems like their wiener is like gigantic even when it's soft, that I think is kind of like a dead giveaway. But I went on Google when I first heard about this and I searched penis injections. Vice video came up right away. It was like an interview with a doctor basically talking about how they do this, what it's all about. Mind-blowing.
Public, don't be fooled. He looked it up because he was interested in getting it for his porn career.
If I thought that I could get it and there would be like absolutely no side effects, then that would be kind of interesting because I mean, hey, you can never have too much of a good thing. But I'm pretty sure that there's like bad things that come with filling your penis up with oil.
What if they have like basement injection places, like they have like the basement ass stuff?
I'm definitely down with that. Yeah, I would definitely be down to get some foreign software in my wiener.
Ouch.
Ouch. What are we talking about?
I don't know. I'm like kind of stalling because I'm like, I wonder if House will show up.
I know.
I think we should give up now.
Right, like I already feel kind of guilty that I told the story about all the gangsters being together in Tulum and stuff because I felt like that was something that when I thought about that in my head, like, oh, I should mention that, I was thinking, oh, House Phone is the kind of person who would be amused by AD and Busta Rhymes and Lil Keed hanging out in Mexico.
My favorite thing was their video with AD and OT with their hats on and like salsa dancing.
There's something that happens where AD will point his camera at OT Genesis and say like, go, and it just straight OT, no matter what time it is. It could be 3 o'clock in the morning, it could be 3 p.m., it could be any time of day. OT will just start crip walking, start just doing a little salsa dance. He just hits these dances and it's just like, yo, like I wish I had a friend that I could just point the camera at and they would just start doing a little jig for me.
House Phone.
But he doesn't really dance that much, right? Although that would be cool if he was my crip walking friend. He just like.
I don't think I've ever watched. I don't think I've ever watched him crip walk, but he does the woe a lot, or what is it? Hit 'em, folks.
The woe was an era.
It's still in there, I think.
You think there was?
Well, for house phone, because he's doing it every week when we do the live stream.
He'll woe to songs.
Yeah.
That makes sense, man. When the woe came out, it was like, I feel like that was like Lil Pump's. Like he made that his own for a while. He was like the woe guy.
Yeah, they were really good at it. But come on, we're not going to take it away from the people in Dallas.
Yeah.
Or Houston.
Yeah, what happened to 10K? He was the woe creator.
That's what I'm saying.
And he had a beef with some other dude because the other dude was saying he made it. I remember that. It's like you're throwing stuff up in the air the whole time. I felt like I was juggling.
Like you're juggling. No, the best one is when you pass it to every single person in the room.
But like the signature thing for the woe is that the song that you're doing the woe to has to have that crazy bass thing, which
the distorted bass.
That was every song for a while.
No, and then it's like no melody. It's just drums and like.
Yeah. There's still so many rappers that every song they put out is like that though. Like I was watching this dude who Lil Uzi randomly appeared in the guy's video. Much. Let's talk about that.
I love that.
So, what's his name? Just Zeke? Was that it? We ended up tagging him in the Instagram post, even though he wasn't tagged at first. But Just Zeke, is that it? Anyway, like it was a cool song, but it was kind of like, man, like that song kind of like has that vibe of like a lot of other songs. Like, but I still thought it was a pretty good song. But what wonders me though is like I'm very conspiracy minded. Do you think, because that was Philly, do you think Uzi knew who the dude was? Because the dude already had a little bit of a wave going then before Uzi popped up in his video. You know, it was like already he had a thing going. I wonder to what extent that dude had a homie that knew Uzi that was like, yo, can you pull up to the gas station and hop in this video real quick? Because if that was how that happened and then somebody put it on social media, like that's the perfect caption to make it go viral. Like, oh, Lil Uzi just randomly popped in this dude's video. That's the perfect thing to make that go viral. Because people love that, the idea of like something completely unexpected happening.
I don't like this conspiracy theory. I just like the idea that Uzi is this magical unicorn that pops up places and is just nice to people.
And just brings joy and happiness.
Just like that fucking video where he's talking to the kids in the school bus.
Yes.
My favorite.
How often is Uzi just in Philly? Like, I wonder how much time he really spends there.
Some people say that he moved back there.
He moved back there.
He's living there. That's why he works so closely with like working on dying and stuff because they all live out there.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I got to pay more attention to exactly where Lil Uzi is locating himself.
Yeah, I'm like, I feel like I know too much.
I feel like I don't know enough.
I know too much.
I want to know everything. I just got ghosted on for an interview. I don't know if I want to say with who. We're gonna let the
viewers guess.
But this is a person who's ghosted on me at least 3 times now for interviews.
I was there the first time or second time.
My notes for this person's interview make no sense because they're like completely out of order. I have questions that are like stuff that happened this week. I have questions that are like when you were 15, let's talk about this thing, like when you first got in the game, whatever. Like
I feel like by the time you interview him, you're gonna have 10 pages of notes just from all the like a compiled of all the different times you had to like interview or get ready for his interview.
That was why when I was gonna do it today, I was actually planning on it being like I was gonna make a joke out of it and be like, I'm be honest with you, my notes are completely all over the place, so this interview might make no sense. You guys headed out?
I love you.
I love you too. Bye, Yassi and Laura.
Bye.
Bye. Recycle or die.
I love it.
I heard recycling doesn't do anything. We're going to talk about that later, though.
I don't want to get into that, but yes, I know.
You read that article?
I've been read articles. They're not buying plastic anymore. Like when we put plastic in recyclables or sell it for 5 cents or whatever, China used to buy them, but now it's not worth even 5 cents to like ship it over there, clean it. It's not even worth it.
It's not worth it because then.
So where the fuck are they putting it?
Right. Once you recycle the plastic can only be used like maybe like 1 or 2 more times, but the actual cost to process the plastic and make it usable again is not worth the amount. But the reason why recycling became such a thing is because the plastic companies, like people forget that plastic was a huge scapegoat for like I forget if it was the late 80s or the 90s or whatever, but it was very much agreed upon that like plastic is bad, plastic is indicative of why the environment is going to shit. So the plastic companies decided, oh, we're going to start recycling. The whole time, they knew that recycling was not a sustainable solution, but they just encouraged it anyway because it got the public's pressure off of them. And so all of a sudden, plastic wasn't this devil anymore. Plastic was, oh yeah, plastic, it was bad for the environment, but now we recycle it. it was all bullshit. It was all just a waste of money to convince the public that plastic was safe. Now enter 2020. Nobody is having a conversation about like, oh, you're drinking out of a red cup. It's plastic. It's fucked up. Nobody's saying that anymore. So now they're kind of like, well, maybe we just not recycle at all anymore since it's a total waste of time and it doesn't do anything. Isn't that crazy?
I don't know. Like, I don't know how much longer we can live on this earth. And I was watching this documentary of fucking, what's his name? Jeff Bezos, and the fucking thing that he's building in space where he could hold like 1 million people in one spacecraft thingy, and we're all gonna live in it. It's gonna be beautiful. And I don't know. I'm like, oh, when are we gonna do that?
Why would I want to go to space?
I don't know. Oh, and I also watched the fucking NASA documentary where they killed 7 people.
I watched the first episode of that.
It's pretty dry. I'm not gonna lie, but it was interesting enough for me to watch it.
Yeah,
the whole thing through.
I'm 1 episode in. I'm gonna keep watching it, but that shit was
worth watching.
That was what's her name? Kristopher Caldwell, New Hampshire.
Nashua?
Maybe.
Legend.
Probably not Nashua, but
She could have been your teacher.
she could have if she wasn't an astronaut. But isn't it interesting that the fucking space program was like diversified, like super early on? It was like a really big deal for them that they have a lot of women and different races and shit.
Shout out to the Asian guy, the first Asian astronaut.
Really?
You remember?
I only watched the first episode, so I might have missed that. But
you didn't even get to the Asian yet?
no.
Wow.
But isn't that crazy to think all these people watching? Like,
What year was that when they did the diversity?
Early 90s or 80s?
It was 90s. That's not early.
Huh? 86. 86 was when that happened. Damn, I was 3.
86? That's still too late in my opinion. When did they stop segregation?
Oh.
Well, I mean, it's still kind of going on, but.
Right, but I mean, I don't think that. I don't know.
I would have thought they would have done it in the 70s.
I would have expected the space program to be one of the things that was last to be diversified. Although I guess it was so new at that time that they were sort of able to sort of start from scratch and say like,
yeah,
you know.
I think the weirdest thing was that they were trying to make it so like commercialized,
Really?
like an airline craft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem.
I mean, maybe for me it seems like that just because I don't remember the era of them doing that, and now being an astronaut and going to space is so like far removed from like what I can think of doing.
Yeah.
That like they were trying to sell this idea to people like anyone can go to space, like you can fucking whatever $1,000 ticket, let's go to Mars.
Wasn't Lance?
That was weird.
I don't know if anybody heard that. Somebody just went by. I'm gonna clock him at 120 miles per hour. That was a fast sounding motorbike out there. But yeah, I would. What the fuck are you just saying? I forget what I was about to say.
Lance Armstrong.
No. Lance Bass. From NSYNC. He was gonna do it at one point. Wasn't he supposed to raise like $100 million or some shit for him to go to space? Like he had to raise some ridiculous amount of money, but they were gonna shoot his ass into space.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I don't remember a lot of the details about it, but that was going to be a thing. What rapper would you like to see go to space?
Young Thug.
Oh my God.
Young Thug, Uzi, all the aliens. They just need to be put on a spaceship, go make an album in space.
If Thug and Uzi went to space together, I just feel like flexing would be done in rap, because once you've gone to space, like...
What more can you do?
Yeah, you're going to tell me about your shoes?
I don't give a fuck.
I was just on the moon. Literally. Shut the fuck up. I'm Young Thug and I was just on the moon. It's over.
Period. It's over. The rap game is over.
That's fire. You know what I was thinking the other day, or this morning actually, is that the thing that bothers me about like designer sneakers is that a pair of Vans is objectively, I think, a better pair of shoes than a pair of Balenciagas. Mm-hmm. But like a Gucci purse is clearly of like infinitely better quality than like a fucking Old Navy purse, or like I'm sure if you were to compare it to like, you know, I'm sure there's like good purses that aren't like $1,500, but they, you know, at least when it comes to like leather goods, the designer thing seems to make a lot more sense. Whereas with sneakers, I don't think that Gucci needs to be making sneakers.
This is what my mom told me about designer clothes in general, because I was looking at a pair of Louis Vuitton sneakers I wanted, and I still want, and she was telling me like there's no point of you spending $1,500 on things that are you're gonna be walking on the ground with. You can walk on poop, you can walk on fucking dirt, you don't know. But a purse, you're not gonna be dragging across the floor. Imagine if you had a fucking $15 purse and you're dragging across the floor, you know?
Yeah, I feel like...
But I still like designer shoes.
Yeah,
they're cute.
I feel it. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but it feels like for women, the purse is just like, you know, you need a purse. It's not, you don't need 10 purses, although I guess probably a lot of
20,
you do.
30.
You feel like you need 10 purses, like 10 designer purses just to switch in and out?
Yes. What are you talking about?
10?
There's so many different outfits, and there's so many different types of purses on all sizes. Satchel bags. What is it called? Bucket bags.
I feel like I'm so lucky to have a girlfriend who's like mostly clueless about
What are
fashion.
you talking about? She has a lot of designer.
Not really.
I think. I don't know. I'm just. I'm flexing on her behalf.
When me and her first started dating, I got her a couple pairs of designer shoes. She maybe has bought herself a couple pairs, and same thing with the bag, with the bags. But for the most part, she seems like pretty uncomfortable with anything designer. I feel like that's something that we slowly kind of realized together is that we are humble, quaint people that don't need to be engaging
humble king
in
and
this.
queen. Well, you have to think about it this way. It's, you know, if when you buy a first class ticket on an airline versus an economy seat, you're still going to take you from point A to point B.
Right.
You know, same shit with cars. A luxury vehicle versus a fucking Fiat, you know?
She's more into the first class flights than me. For me, I'm
Pretty stupid.
economy for life.
It's cool. I mean, I as long as my seat goes back. And I also am pretty small. If I was 6'3", maybe I would have an issue with that. I don't know.
In my mind, it's like I'm gonna pay I just think of it too logically. I'm gonna pay like, let's say $2,000 extra
Yeah, fuck
to
that.
sit in a more comfortable seat.
In a filthy giant tube in the air.
It doesn't really add up to me.
I would rather spend that money on my actual vacation or wherever I'm going and spend it on a nice hotel or food.
Yeah, I just can't, like, it makes no sense to me. And I get it that, like, a lot of people are just like, oh, I'm making all this money. I have money to blow. I'm like, I made, you know, like, I feel like if you make $1 million a month, then you can get first class.
That's the target. That's the limit.
For me, that is how much I honestly think I would have to be making in order to then feel like, oh, I'll spend $2,000 to sit in a more comfortable seat for this fucking 5-hour flight.
It's interesting that we're talking about materialism and stuff right now because on my way here, I was watching a Lupe Fiasco rant actually about Kanye West. Really, really good. He should be a podcaster. We should have him on here. He's great.
I'd like to. That would be amazing.
He was great. You should actually just interview him. But he was just talking about materialism in general and fame and money and how it's all so stupid and Rolex. We put in this high regard as the most best fucking watch, but every single Rolex he's ever had has broken in like 2 years. Ferraris. He went on this long ass rant about how Ferraris were only built because the owner wanted to race cars, and so they didn't even think about like the car itself. And then when they were selling it, they weren't selling the actual car; they were selling maintenance for the car.
Really?
Very crazy, but I don't know. His rant it made all the sense when he was talking for 40 minutes.
No, yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that materialism is a disease that in time humanity really needs to unlearn in order to like reach its full potential, because I just think that like people are brainwashed into like the same way that I would tell, like, okay, just for an example, me and Laura one time we were walking through the mall. I had just given Laura a raise or whatever, and she was thinking about buying this designer thing, and I just said to her straight up, I'm like, listen, I would not recommend you do that, because once you start buying designer shit, it's like a fucking addiction, and you're gonna want more of it. And the truth is that nobody is looking at you right now like, oh, you don't have designer shit, and that like
some people do, lame people.
Yeah, I guess, but who the fuck are you really trying to impress with that shit? I just didn't.
That's exactly
what
he was saying about that too. Like, if you want to flex so hard and get a fucking Lambo or whatever, like, who are you really trying to impress? Like, are you trying to impress the people from the hood that you were at? Like, they're going to rob you. Are you trying to impress the, like, the really rich people? They're richer than you.
Right.
You know? So, like, who are you really trying to impress?
Yeah, it's just broke people trying to impress other broke people.
Exactly.
Which is just really not how you want to live your life. Yeah,
But do you really think that there's a way that materialism we can overcome materialism, because our economy is built on capitalism and built on consumers being brainwashed into thinking we need every fucking thing and more, and thinking, you know?
And like the rap music that we love is like a huge percentage of the time of the lyrics is spent on convincing you that you need nice cars, you need fancy jewelry, you need to do extremely expensive drugs, smoke extremely expensive weed. Basically, like anything that you could, like, if you were to like come up with a book of guidelines for how to live your life in a financially conservative way that will eventually set you up for the future, every single not everyone, a huge percentage of rap songs are basically giving you the worst financial advice you could ever imagine.
Yeah, no, agreed.
And I mean,
this is what the music that the children are listening to.
Right. But I would advise people the same thing. Like, if I see like a young dude that I know like drinking lean, I would tell them, that is a fucking crazy habit. It's one of the worst things that you can do to your body.
So
it's incredibly expensive, and it's not going to make your life better in any fucking way at all. And I would say the exact same thing about like designer fashion and shit. Like that shit is for millionaires. It is for people that do not have to worry about $5,000, $10,000 here, whatever. If you get to that point, then I think that this makes sense for you as a consumer. Like maybe you could rock that shit. But I mean, also I get it. A lot of people just like clothes.
Yeah,
I respect that, you know?
And I totally don't think it's okay, or like, I think it's fine if you save up your money and you buy this bag or whatever that you really, really want, and like it's like this one-time purchase, maybe once a year or twice a year or every 2 years or something that you like work really hard for. Like I don't think that's bad, but when you have to get this drop and have to get that drop, and it just becomes this whole toxic like flex. I don't know. I think that's when it gets too much.
Yeah, it's a bad cycle to get into, and especially if you can't afford it. Like same thing with the designer shit. Like if it's a reasonable percentage of your income, like with a lot of the rappers, it's like you know, I would say that Young Thug, like maybe your life would be better if you didn't drink lean, but I'm sure that whatever you're spending on lean is a reasonable percentage of his total income. So okay, fine, whatever. Dudes I know who smoke fucking $500 worth of weed every day or two. I mean, it's maybe not like the best way for me to suggest that you spend your money, but if you can afford it, it is what it is. But it's just, that's the problem, is that then you have all the things that Kylie Jenner is doing with her money, and you have girls who are making $20,000 a year and they want to do the things that Kylie Jenner is doing. And it's like, no, Kylie is a billionaire. She can afford those things, and brands pay her to try to deceive you into thinking that those are reasonable financial things for you to do, and it's just not. She's getting paid to tell you to spend crazy amounts of money on that shit.
You don't understand the fucking amount of girls that were like going fucking nuts when she did her purse closet tour. Right. She has a closet just for purses. Right. It is crazy.
And it was insane.
It's insane.
That's how I felt when I saw Shane Dawson's video about Jeffree Star.
Oh my God, yeah.
His purse, I mean, and that, you know, as soon as he started to say like, I bought this for $20,000, realistically it's going to be worth $50,000 within a year or two, I'm like, well, I guess that is probably a pretty good use of your money then. But for me,
people say that shit, but I've never seen anyone really sell their shit. They're like, oh my God, I bought this Birkin, but it's going to be worth this much. Do people really sell their things after? Like, they usually just keep it.
Yeah, does anyone do that? I feel like your material purchases drag you down as a human being. Like, having all that excessive weight to your existence, I just don't really think it's necessarily like a good thing. I used to really value what?
This is where Houseful needs to be.
Yeah, you're like, because nah, bro, you ain't seen the new Supreme, bro.
The drip. Yeah. No, because I mean, I've never been to his room, but I've heard about his room and all the hoodies and all the clothes and the shoes and the hats and the this and the.
But you know what? Housephone is a drip journeyman, because he does the thing that actually makes having all that drip kind of make sense, which is that you have the Depop, you buy something, you rock it a bunch of times, you get the fucking flex on Instagram, you get to use that to your advantage, you wear it in a music video, and then he just flips the shit. And if you can do that consistently and actually like make money or not spend as much money as you might otherwise, then I get it. Like I would assume that somebody like Ian Connor, like his closet is probably insane, but he also probably like flips shit back and forth, so it's not like he's just going to the mall and just like destroying his fucking savings account all the time, you know?
No, Housephone.
You don't think that?
Housephone's buying. Yes, he does flip stuff and Depop stuff, but from what I've seen, he does a lot of impulse purchases that he does not need to do. Right. And I tell him all the time, like, I don't want to pocket watch you, but what the fuck are you doing?
But I am a person who I realize the value of clothing and stuff, because let's just say that every time you saw a new photo of me on Instagram, I had some crazy new designer shoes, some crazy fucking expensive ass outfit. Let's say I had a couple of Lamborghinis in the fucking driveway, at least. I would be able to like be on the gram really flexing that shit, and it would probably affect my career in a positive way. Like, just knowing how fucking stupid people are, they would just see that and they'd think like, oh yeah, man, 22 is killing it. He got all the dopest cars. He got all the flyest drip. It's like, I could do that, but like, I would much rather like save for the future and like, just, I don't know. But then I get it, because there is like value that you can derive from putting out this fucking image. Like, I know people who are influencers that people view them completely differently than they would otherwise because they're constantly flexing their purchases. And I mean,
So lame.
that's cool for them if they like doing that.
First of all, no one calls you 22.
Some people do.
Oh, that's lame.
22! Someone will always see me be like, 22, deuce,
Really?
deuce.
I always hear them go, no jumper.
Yeah, I got a lot of no jumper. Or Waka calling me jumper over and over in his interview.
I love
Hey,
that.
jumper. Hey, jump. I think he was just going jump.
Jump.
Hey, jump. Jump man. If there wasn't already a jump man, maybe I would be jump man.
No, you cannot take you can't take the jump man's fucking name.
I can't really jump like that. No.
Yeah,
I don't think I deserve to take that from MJ.
You can't take the jump because that's why you're no jumper.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking about, though, was going to like the basketball court and like watching some videos about how to shoot free throw shots properly, and then just like getting good at it, because like, you know, as bad as I am at shooting a basketball right now, I feel like there has to be some extent to which I could get my percentage up there and my technique so it was respectable. And that would just be funny because, you know, there's all these apps that actually like trace the trajectory of you shooting the ball. And like,
what, like by the like angle or whatever?
Like you set up your fucking phone to film you and it shows you
Wow.
the angle. And I'm pretty sure that it gives you some kind of like coaching, like from what it can derive based on what it sees in the footage of you, which
That's
I find
crazy.
like really fascinating.
Wow, technology.
If you see me sinking a free throw shot from the fucking half point line, I know that's not where a free throw shot is shot from, but if you see that, you will know that I probably got that app.
You can't even dribble, right?
I can dribble.
Oh, sorry.
That would be funny if I could. There's probably plenty of people that can't dribble, right? I remember being a kid and like learning to dribble.
I can't imagine you fucking being outside.
Well, there's a point in your life where you're like not capable of figuring out that motion. Or what about the speed bag?
Oh, I can't do that. That shit's too hard.
I maybe could get a little rhythm going, but it would probably not be too impressive looking.
You in the face.
No, you don't get that close to it.
I thought but it like swings back. It swings back at you.
It could, but if you were like putting your head like in the fucking meat grinder, yeah, but like you're perfect technique, you're kind of away from your face, I would think.
Oh, I don't know. From all the times I've done it, it gets like way too close to my face.
I have to get back on a personal trainer regimen.
I want a personal trainer. The only time I had an ass was when I had a personal trainer, and then he hit on me because he bought a new car.
Are you serious?
It was so uncomfortable.
When was this?
It was when I still knew you. It was in like I don't know, like maybe 3 years ago or something. I used to work at LA Fitness.
So you had a completely platonic relationship going.
Of course. Why I wouldn't not interested in him. He's like.
And then one day he got a new car, and how did he go about trying to sleep with you through the car?
He showed me a picture of his new car, and he said like, "Oh, do you want to go on a ride in it?" Like, and then the follow up question was, "Do you have a boyfriend?" And then I paid him, and then I never talked to him again.
How many sessions had you done prior to that?
I worked out with him for at least like 6 months.
Wow.
I was very fit.
That is so insane to wait that long before you drop that hammer.
Maybe I had a girlfriend or broke up with her. I don't know. It was really uncomfortable, and I was like, I don't ever want to talk to you or see you again. And then one time I was at the boba time in Koreatown, and I saw him, and I hid in the bathroom.
Really?
Yes, I did not want to talk to him. He's like,
you were that
huge.
uncomfortable with him hitting on you, huh?
He's just like scary and big and like.
You think he's on steroids?
Kinda.
Really?
He's huge.
That's hot. There's
Of course you would think that's hot.
There's a guy who I don't want to specify what the thing that he does for us in our life is, but
I know him.
No, but it's a person who me and Lena have at times paid to do, you know, something like for us. It's not like anything mysterious, but
a threesome?
No, that would be something. No, but basically like he, you know, like he provides a service. Like I would give an example of like
Cleaning?
No, not cleaning. But it would be like if he was, I can't think of anything that would even be close enough, but it's not the thing. It would be like if she had a nail tech, but less nail techy, right?
Okay.
Like a person who provides a service.
Okay.
And when he first met her, he did not acknowledge that he had a wife, and he did not acknowledge that he had kids on the way until she was like, yeah, I have a boyfriend I live with, and he's, you know, at my house right now or whatever. And then pretty quickly he started to like tell her like, oh, actually, yeah, or like he slowly let it drop like, oh yeah, I have a wife and shit. But isn't that fucking hilarious that this guy was like gonna completely leave her in the dark about the fact that he had a wife at home and stuff because he was obviously just gonna try to fuck?
It was her personal trainer, huh?
It wasn't personal trainer, but it was something like that.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that crazy?
Guys are weird.
Yeah.
They'll just From my time and experience being a woman, I've realized men are very fucking stupid, and they'll just take any opportunity like of women acknowledging your existence of them thinking they have a chance to sleep with you.
It must be so tough being a woman and just constantly having that experience of like, oh, I thought this person actually wanted me to work for them, or actually wanted to hire me for this thing, or actually wanted to be my friend, and then actually they want to fuck.
Yeah, the worst. That's why it's so safe having a boyfriend. Oh my God.
Yeah,
right? Because it's like...
I find such comfort in having a girlfriend. It's not like that. I mean, yeah, I guess girls don't really hit on me because of the girlfriend thing that much, but just in general, not having to think about who you're going to be sleeping with outside of OnlyFans content it's a lot of stress that I like used to deal with that I didn't really know that I was dealing with.
Yeah, I can't imagine being a guy and just wanting to get your dick wet like all the time.
Yeah.
And like the chase, like that you have to like, oh, tonight, like bar, let's go, guys.
And especially
who's gonna get the hottest girl
once
tonight?
you start riding that wave of like having an ego and thinking like, oh, I have money and I'm famous and I'm cool now. Like you see dudes who really get on that fucking hamster wheel and just fucking get completely addicted to getting pussy to a point that's like unbelievably unhealthy and basically like torpedo their entire lives.
Yeah.
I feel so lucky, to be honest, that I didn't really get to do that because I was dating somebody right when my shit started to take off and I just stayed with her.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was there during the inception and the process. It was so cute.
Yeah. And when I look at how boring and cute our life is now and the fact that we have a baby on the way and the fact that like we can't...
I keep forgetting you have a baby on
like I cannot imagine living the life that I used to live.
Yeah,
with her.
you lived a life of debauchery.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you guys were crazy. I can't even imagine like that fucking house. I'm so glad I met you guys like the day you were moving out.
Of the Koreatown house?
Yeah, I lived 2 blocks away from you. You know that, right?
Really?
The first time we all went to Korean barbecue, and I walked to your guys' house. I was like, oh, I live 2 blocks down.
Wow.
I'm so glad I did not know anyone.
There was always so many
before.
people partying at my house, and like the doors would just be like unlocked like all the time. Like I would come home. The doors are just unlocked. I'd be so mad, but I got so mad about it so many times and it kept happening that eventually I just like lost the will to get angry about it. So whenever I would leave the house, I would like take my laptop and like hide it in like a little hiding spot and shit.
You don't have a lock on your door?
They would leave it unlocked because
no, like your door.
Oh,
for
my
your room.
actual door, dude. You know, I did at one point, and then one of my drunk ass roommates kicked my fucking door in one night. And I think I was with a girl, and he was like kicking the door in or something, and like. Yeah, that was.
Was it Stevie? I'm trying to think of like who would be drunk enough to do that.
Definitely
I'm like,
Stevie.
I don't think I can see Began like doing that to a door.
I remember one time.
That's so funny.
Pre-Lena, I was sleeping with this porn star girl, and fucking Stevie was just so drunk, and he walks in the house, he sees the high heels at the bottom of the stairs, and he starts screaming her name, and she was so mad that she started to try to like run out of my room to go attack him in the hallway.
He can identify women by their shoes?
I had already told him.
Oh.
It said her name inside the shoe.
Has like a name tag on it. I'm like, wow, Stevie's really paying attention
Did your parents
to
write your name inside your underwear when you were a kid? Is that something I'm going to do for my daughter? Maybe she goes to camp.
No, but my brother would, like, anytime he owned anything, a water bottle, a backpack, leave it at school, leave it at the playground, leave it everywhere. So everything he owned, but besides underwear, I don't know why he would be taking that off. Jackets, everything, write your name in.
It's interesting to me that I have left items of clothing, like all throughout my childhood, I have so many memories of like having a hoodie that I really liked or having a jacket that I really liked and just leaving it somewhere. So now I have this fucking permanent thing in my brain that is constantly like checking for all my possessions.
Me too, before I leave.
Like the wallet in my pocket, I'm kind of always like subconsciously like tapping it to make sure it's there, make sure the keys are there. If I do have a jacket, I feel like I have like a mental connection with the jacket where I can't really like leave without the jacket because my brain is going to go like, you had a jacket, like get the jacket.
I think like you live life and you lose so many items along the way. I remember like I went to like one EDC and I lost my camera, my phone, my wallet, everything I owned. And then after that day is where I was like, this needs to stop. And I never lost anything again.
Was that like a drunken drug thing, I would assume?
I don't know about drunken, but yes, drug thing. It was just me lost out of my brain, like,
The worst would be when I was off the Xans and I would just be like losing things and forgetting things, and things would happen to me and I wouldn't even know the next day. And I'm looking through my phone trying to figure out like, who the fuck is this person I was texting?
I'm so glad I never had a Xan phase. I feel like everyone I know has had a Xan phase in some way or another, and it just sounds bad. It just sounds like a black hole of like what happened in this period of time.
And I would talk to some people, like when I had the store, I was already like kind of past the Xan thing, like once I got the store on Melrose. But I would talk to people and I would realize like other people that I knew who worked on Melrose or hung out on Melrose. Like I remember this one dude, I'm not going to mention his name because I think you know this person. He was just talking about like a Xan party that he went to, and just describing how fucked up everyone was and how fucking, and I was just listening to him like, this sounds like a fucking nightmare. This sounds like this sounds like 15 fucking lawsuits about to pop off. I'm just like, wow, like that is like terrifying. Like a bunch of fucking zombies, like a party based around everybody basically getting to the point that they're like zombies with no memory. This cannot end well.
Everyone just walking around like this. Ugh.
And that's why I'm kind of amazed by AD and OT, because I'm like, that's kind of amazing that you guys can get this shit face wasted all the time and you never beef. You never get mad at each other.
Their friendship looks so beautiful and so loving. I love it. The funniest thing is when I went to China Max rally and I saw
AD.
No, I combined their names into OD in my head. Okay.
AD Genesis. I'm surprised he never took on the last name.
He should.
That would be cool.
And then I look at AD and all his friends, and they're very, they look big and tough. I was like, oh, those are your friends. He's like, yeah, we party. I was like, okay.
AD actually has been like working out really hard since he's been coming here and like training to fight and all this stuff.
Yeah, he said he was like doing jujitsu or something, right?
But he also is like kind of acknowledging lately that like the alcohol is what's holding him back. That he probably could get like really ripped and shit, but he would probably not be able to drink.
Aren't they in Jamaica right now?
They are in Jamaica now.
I forgot. That's crazy.
Smoking weed on the plane with the pilot.
Wow.
I was pretty impressed by that. I'm not impressed easily, but I like that.
I love that.
That stood out to me.
Guess what I did this weekend?
Tell me.
We had I love yours.
Tell me.
We had a very wholesome barbecue at our friend's house across the street, and a rapper pulled up by the name of Key, and he ended up cooking us some burgers and chicken.
Fat Man Key pulled up and manned the barbecue?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Right?
Everybody go watch Fat Man Key's No Jumper interview from back in the day.
Do people still call him Fat Man Key?
I mean, I'm just used to calling him that because there's like a few other Key, there's Key Glock, there's Key 21 Savage's manager, there's like a few different Keys, I wouldn't want to confuse the keys.
The keys. No, or you could just say Key with the exclamation point.
Key really has like some of that one Kenny Beats project, what is this shit called? It was like one of the best mixtapes ever.
333 or something?
777.
Oh,
that was a phenomenal album.
But you have to realize that every time that Kenny Beats works on a project where it's like, this is a collaborative project between me and just the artist, like the 03 Greedo one, it's like he just is able to create like the perfect soundscape like album. So
they just lock in that little room, which I have now seen like a million people record freestyles in.
Yeah, the cave.
I like the TJX6 one. That one was funny as fuck.
Yeah, that one was legendary.
And he did have No Jumper shirt on.
Yeah, the one that he never took off.
He did wear it probably a lot more. Whereas like we did merch with Blueface. Man, I remember thinking that Blueface merch we did was going to blow.
Yeah.
And it did not.
It didn't do much.
The dollar sign with Blueface's face on it did okay.
Yeah.
But we made the shirts that said bop, yeah, under it. I don't think other people thought that was as funny as we did.
I thought it was hilarious.
Everybody, for a while, everybody's bop.
Yeah. Did we ever, the best one I thought was the dollar sign as a towel or like a rug, but I don't think those were ever made. But if those were made, I think those would have, went up.
Didn't we sell those?
I feel like we just sold the shirts, but Jason's not here. He can't confirm, so
Jason
I don't know.
Can't confirm. We've done so much merch over the years.
What's the new latest No Jumper drop that you guys are going to do next?
Well, I have to speak to Eliza, but we have a shirt for her that people who've seen the Eating the Doll podcast are probably already familiar with. So we have that. A little late. Could have dropped that maybe like 2 months ago and it probably would have done better. But yeah, so there's that.
Cool.
And then we have like a whole new On Some Shit drop because we actually have an On Some Shit BMX video that we filmed in San Francisco that's going to be coming out soon. So we got a whole line that we're going to drop for that. Fashion Demics, I need my post. Where's it at? And then in terms of other No Jumper stuff.
Is it a drip or is it a skip?
Oh, it's a drip.
It's a drip?
I mean, I'm going to have to leave that to the Fashion Demics commenters, but yeah, that's going to be interesting. I'm going to have to see
But you're
that.
claiming it's a certified drip.
I personally think it's certified drip. There's various, we went through a period with OSS where I felt like the designs were a little less inspired, but I'm pretty happy with all the new stuff. And I'm mostly just happy to have the team hanging out, doing stuff. Personally, I think we're going to go on a mission this week where we're going to get some more BMX clips. I'm very excited. I'm very much like,
nice.
We're going for it.
I'm glad you're getting back to your roots. You didn't forget about where you came from.
I missed it. Honestly, the back thing was just fucking me up for so
I remember
long.
you had a back problem.
My back was so bad for so long. Now that that's gone, I'm like, fuck, let's ride. I'm enjoying it a lot. But yeah, also got a ton of porn in my fucking schedule right now, to be honest. Tons of porn.
Oh, can't wait for
Which
that.
is always kind of weird, It's like scheduling myself out and just knowing that that's what I have to do at that time. I find it very easy, but it is kind of like a weird thing to know that you're going to do for that day. Got to go mix some bodily fluids, mixing up the medicine.
Do you want to talk about any of my amazing topics?
Throw one at me.
Bobby Shmurda was denied parole for this year.
If I was Bobby Shmurda's lawyer, I would grab the judge by his neck and scream, "Have you not seen this 6ix9ine shit? Have you not seen Instagram? Let him out. The streets need Shmurda." That's what I would do if I was his lawyer. I guess that's probably part of why I'm not a lawyer, but I'm offended.
Okay, wait. So I remember the reports maybe a few months ago where they're saying that he was possibly going to be released this year.
Seemed like people
Correct?
were very confident. Yeah.
Right?
How long does he have to wait now to find out? A year or some shit before you get another fucking parole hearing, whatever? If Bobby Shmurda gets COVID in there,
They have to let him out, right?
there will be hell to pay. I don't know, but
I hope he's okay. But
I'm offended.
yeah, I don't know why they were so. I don't remember why they were so hell bent on like he's definitely probably getting released this year.
Yeah.
And then what happened is that they denied his parole because of a shank he was trying to get into the prison.
that's a thing. Like he had a shank recently, or no, this was back when it first happened. Didn't somebody try to bring him a fucking knife
His
or whatever?
girlfriend or something
Right.
like that.
So that's why.
I believe that's what some YouTubers are speculating.
Listen, I'm gonna
not
go.
too sure.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say that if Bobby Shmurda felt like he needed to protect himself in prison, he probably really did. I'm sure
Right?
it goes down there, and if he felt like he needed something that he couldn't get on the inside of the prison, he probably really needed it. Now, I'm not saying that as if you're a prison general or whatever the fuck, a prison guard, prison operator, prison engineer. I'm not saying that you should take that and absolve him of his crime, but I do feel like cut the guy a break.
Do you remember when he did the song with 6ix9ine?
God.
Right?
That is something that could have only taken place at that moment in time. And yeah, I mean, I hate jail verses. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can never enjoy a jail verse.
Yeah, it's a phone call.
I don't care if it's J fucking Z. If there's a jail verse, you know what? Send me the Genius link. I will read through the lyrics, but I don't really feel like I don't need to listen to it.
Yeah, I feel you.
Send me the lyric sheet.
It's like them writing you a letter. You can just read it.
I can't. Like, I understand that there's like artists that you want to support and you want to show them love. Like Draco put out a project from prison. I listened to it just to see where he was at, and because they told me that the recording quality was really good.
How did they record it so good?
I don't know. I guess they figured something out with a fucking phone line or something. But either way, Draco, it was just announced that like they issued a gag order or whatever. Like they're really trying to because Draco is still speaking about his case on social media, they've basically silenced him. He has no chance of going to trial anytime soon. I mean, they're just dragging Draco through the mud, and it's insane how it's just this never ending.
I watched the video that you guys put out, and I didn't realize how fucking insane it was, and how it's like he was let out and then get back in for the same thing, and like none of it makes sense to me. And then
nobody thinks that he shot the guy who died.
he wasn't.
The question the question is, did Draco drive these people to this party? Did he purposefully organize a gang and drive them to this party to kill this guy? That is the actual question. And there's no evidence to really suggest that Draco was in on it or that he knew it was going to happen. In reality, what happened was he was hanging out with his friends. His friends see a guy from another gang that they had issues with, and they ended up shooting it out. And then they like hopped in the car and Draco left. But there's no reason that Draco would want to have killed that guy.
What
R.I.P. Red Bull.
Was that RJ's friend?
I don't even know.
How was RJ? What was the RJ involvement? They thought he was going to shoot him or some shit.
The prosecution tried to make the argument that Draco went to that party basically looking for Draco or looking for RJ, and like the evidence of that was that they had a jailhouse snitch who was talking to one of the guys that was involved in the shooting, and he said, I believe, quote unquote, we was looking for a dude from Athens, which is RJ's from Athens Park. So like that is the evidence that they were trying to use to prove that like Draco basically created a gang environment in which, you know, they were going to try to kill people basically. Like that's the argument. And it's kind of astonishing that this argument, like when you think about murder cases, you think like it's pretty hard to prove that someone's responsible for a murder unless they actually like, you know, pointed the gun at someone or you have evidence that they were involved in orchestrating and planning the murder. But the thing is that they use these gang enhancements to basically say like, oh, you committed this crime that would normally get you, like somebody like Ralphie the Plug, who now is out actually and hopefully stays that way. But Ralphie, like he was like credit card scamming at Neiman Marcus. But then they basically like said, because you are in a gang, which is the Stink Team, which is actually a fucking rap crew, that therefore we're going to like throw this gang enhancement on all your other charges. And it's just like super evil, fucked up shit to let them basically lock people away that they would never be able to otherwise. Go watch my video about Draco the Ruler really if you are interested.
The whole story is just insane, makes no fucking sense. And like, what's the evidence? What's the fucking proof? Like, where's the justice? I don't know.
And where's the outrage? Because I feel like LA is so crabs in a bucket that it's like you just don't really have like a level of support from the LA community. Like when Meek Mill was locked up and it was conceived as super fair, he had Rock Nation, he had Jay-Z to go to bat for him.
We need to hit up Jay-Z.
I know, like that's what sucks is that, but you know, there are Jay-Z's of LA that in theory could be making a big stink out of this. That's the whole problem with the Draco thing, is that me and Jeff Weiss are the only people who talk about it. Obviously Draco's homies and stuff, but when it comes to the media, it's just not that much. And I don't even want to put myself on Jeff Weiss's level because he's put in crazy work documenting this shit, going to court, etc. And it's just like, I don't, you know, I feel like if Dr. Dre had an Instagram post up about it, then that would change everything. I understand that Dr. Dre maybe doesn't really know or give a fuck about Draco, and obviously, like when it comes to people who are more on a street level, like, you know, somebody like YG. I mean, Draco basically said YG's a bitch for not saying something. Like Draco, like if there was a chance that anybody was going to help him out of there, it probably burned some bridges, and I understand that, but I just wish that there were louder voices that were willing to take on the Draco thing because it is so cruel. LA doesn't seem like it usually works out that way though.
Trying to think of like who would, you know, be at that kind of level that would be able to make that much noise. LeBron.
Shout out Draco. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's a very good rapper.
And you're in our city now.
And you're in our city. Not really my city so much, but
really
a city where I live. He is actually from here. LeBron, talk about Draco the Ruler.
Right?
And your son smoking weed.
Brawny.
How you feel about that? I like it that he joins FaZe. I had never heard of this kid in my life. All of a sudden, there's a fucking drama alert post. Oh, Brawny is in FaZe. It's FaZe Brawny now. A week later, boom, smoking Kush. I want to know if FaZe Banks brought him an eighth of some fucking Chiba, and now that's how he got on the weed game. You think it's possible? I think it is.
I'm not going to pin that on FaZe Banks.
I'm going to put it on all the members of FaZe. You all turned FaZe Brawny into a pothead.
Into a drug addict.
Think about that. Think about how many rappers this kid has probably met, how many basketball player, athletes, superstars he's met, actors, whatever. He starts hanging on with the FaZe boys and he's smoking Kush? Come on.
How did it get leaked? Was it like an Instagram story or?
He put it on his Instagram story and then immediately deleted it. That makes you wonder,
Maybe he just wants to smoke fucking weed and
Yeah.
like be like, bro, I smoke weed. Get over it.
Yeah, but I really
You
hope
know?
my daughter doesn't like think like, oh, I'm gonna here's some bad thing that I'm doing and I'm just gonna do it. Fuck what my parents think, because then it's gonna be like, you ever think about that? That's gonna have to be a conversation at one point. Like, yes, I know that your friends use social media to do this, this, and this, but your parents are not just random people, so we're gonna have like way different standards. Like, hey, I really don't even want my kid to have a phone until, you know, as late as possible in life.
How old is Bronny?
I don't know, but he's probably either 18 or near 18.
Because Kylie Jenner just announced, to the world that she's a pothead.
No, it was one of the other.
Kendall Jenner. Kendall Jenner.
Kendall, who one time me and Nate Richter were standing outside of the On Some Shit store and we see her pull up, park, and walk over to a tattoo parlor. No security. Her and her friend. They saw us staring at them. They looked over a little bit real quick. That blew our minds.
Damn, that's crazy.
This bitch parking right on Melrose. Like, you don't know that it goes down here.
Wait, when was this?
A couple years ago.
I feel like some of them just kind of be out like doing anything, because my friends used to work at Wasteland in Sherman Oaks, and like a bunch of famous people would just pull up all the time, like all those like Kendalls and all them.
I feel like it's way different for like rapper type superstars versus like, you know, like who's gonna shoot Kendall? Maybe someone though.
I think it's for them. It's not as much of a shooting thing as much as it is like a stalking or like weird obsessive fans like trying to like kiss their butt or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like Kendall would have to deal with like a psycho stalker. Like, but she's just so ridiculously famous that for me, that's why we were so shocked. We're standing there, she pulls up in a little sports car thing, parks it, and just walks a block away to go to the tattoo shop. We're like, whoa,
that is kind of crazy.
I never would have thought that somebody on your level would be doing that right now. But people say that shit to me too when they see me and Lena just out doing normal shit, walking around Laguna playing Pokemon at fucking midnight.
Yeah.
Like, people driving by being like, Adam 22, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah, I can't imagine you and Lena just rolling around with security. That'd be so weird.
Yeah. No.
You want me to present you a very
I can shoot somebody. Why do I got to do that? Why do I need security for?
oh, you got the blicky on you? Watch out.
The Blammy pack is nearby at all times, my friend.
Are you ready for a controversial question?
Sure.
What do you think is the state of LA music right now? Is it inspiring? Or do you think it's kind of dry? I feel I'm gonna get killed for this one.
That's interesting. I mean, I feel like there's always like some new talent coming out. I feel like Blast is about to blast off potentially. You checked him out?
We were talking about it last week. It was like the one I said spelled with X, right?
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with him, but I've heard
He's good
things.
You would like it. I feel like he could go far. I do feel like the Shoreline Greedo Draco moment, that was exhilarating.
Right?
I don't know, like, because we just don't have like a movement right now. Like Odd Future was a movement. Shoreline and all that was a movement. Granted, smaller than Odd Future, but these, you know, there's like, do you feel something like that in LA? I would love, like, if you just had a pack of young new kids who just like had some different little style and they just started blowing up all together. That's when you really start to see like the youth get kind of like mobilized and like really excited about some shit. I don't know that we really have that right now.
Yeah, because I was thinking about it. Like my friend who's a producer was like, oh, who should I work with that's hot in LA right now? I'm like, you know, I really like this guy Money Sign Suede, and he's already working with him, I guess. But
I was just seeing him on Rosecrans Vic's
he's tight.
Instagram.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, he has a cool voice.
But then I started thinking about when we were all really excited about like Shoreline and, you know, all the names that you mentioned, One Take J and AZ Check and all them. But then I feel like what happened is from that spawned another creature that rose from the ashes called Blueface. And that just got too big that it kind of like blew it all up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like Blueface is definitely the most recent like real superstar to blow up out of LA for sure.
Because people want to say that like LA music is too regional or like West Coast music in general. And I'm like,
There's some of that, but I mean,
because especially Bay music, they want to say that it's too regional and it's only gonna pop in the Bay and it's not gonna hit like nationwide and whatnot.
Right.
But it's like you have to think about like Atlanta music has been nationwide, worldwide forever.
very true.
You know, so I wonder if I want it to become a place where LA hip hop is global.
Yeah. No, I mean, definitely, like, when you think about it, though, it's like, I don't feel like there's a lot of pop and rappers, but it feels like there's a lot of like good underground shit going on like in Detroit. Like there's a lot of different rappers out of Detroit right now who are killing it and who are doing millions of views on YouTube.
Yeah, that's a new scene.
But you haven't really seen like one of them just blow past everybody and become the fucking superstar of that scene. Probably partially because a lot of that stuff musically doesn't necessarily like lend itself to like huge hit records, which I mean, but I think like, okay, if you look at Sada Baby, the whole lot of Chopper's song and stuff is like a fucking viral meme type thing right now. I feel like he could kind of lead that charge. But yeah, you do wonder like who could really be that, because there's a lot of like, you know, damn, see, that's like LA. Imagine if LA had a Pop Smoke right now.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, like, Pop Smoke was that for Brooklyn. Like there's all this drill shit going on, but no, here's the superstar that is going to take that sound and turn it into something that could all of a sudden be on the Travis Scott record and be on, like, just be taken to a completely different level, you know?
Because our Pop Smoke was Blueface, but it was like,
but it was less musical.
It was big because it was funny.
It was personality driven more than musically driven. Yeah, which is
I love Blueface.
Yeah, no, and I think Blueface, like, I don't count Blueface out that he could still have huge records and stuff, but like, you know, as a personality, Blueface is bigger than Pop Smoke because Pop Smoke wasn't as cartoonish and ridiculous and everything. But then as a musician, you know, we've seen. Well, I mean, Blueface did have a lot of big records, you know, so I'm not going to... Pop Smoke had bigger records, though, for sure. I don't know. Tatiana perhaps excluded.
It was huge, but I think it was... I don't know. Never mind. I was going to say that Pop Smoke had more people in the industry behind him pushing it, but no, so did Blueface.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw people saying that Mulatto was the first female rapper that Cole Bennett did a video with since Katie Got Bands, which caused me to go to YouTube and type in Katie Got Bands Lyrical Lemonade and watch like a video from like fucking 6 years ago or some shit that he did for her that has like 40,000 views or something. It was like kind of crazy to think that Lyrical Lemonade was small enough that they could have a video come out and get that few views. But it's actually not even true because Cardi B did videos with Cole Bennett too. But I guess that is kind of like a weird thing is that the Lyrical Lemonade world has not touched on too much of the upcoming female talent. Although I also wouldn't be surprised if there's more. I'm forgetting. No,
because that's the thing that like me and my friends have talked about before the Mulatto video. Like, oh, when are they gonna work with the female artist? Because yes, the Cardi B video was a Lyrical Lemonade video, but it wasn't her song. She was a feature.
This is true.
Yeah.
I wonder. Did
you like that video?
It was good, yeah.
Did you like the song? Did you like the song?
I don't even remember, but
I don't really like the song. I like the video, but I like other songs off that tape a lot more.
Yeah, I don't know. Lil Uzi finally made his first fucking Lyrical Lemonade appearance too.
I know, right? Is it the Tekka one?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
I watched it, and it like as a song, I was like, I gotta listen to this more because I can't tell if it's like the kind of thing where like the melody just didn't really make sense to my brain or where maybe my brain was sort of like lagging behind. It didn't really sound that coherent to me when I listened to it, but I don't trust my first judgment.
I feel you. Whose melody was it? Is it both of them were singing or
they were both
Tekka?
going in, but Tekka had the hook and shit, so
you didn't like the hook?
It just didn't connect with me in the way that certain songs have, I guess. Yeah, because people were saying that song had leaked, but it was only Uzi's song on it, and then people really liked that, and then they're trying to say that Tekka ruined the song. Really? But I haven't really paid that much attention to the I don't pay attention to leaks at all. I don't give a fuck about them. But they did put out the Lil Tekka album, right? And didn't he sell like 40K? Mm-hmm. Did he have a project before that we have sales numbers for, or is this his first real project? I don't know. I'm sorry. Me neither. Virgo World. I think he's a Virgo. When I saw Lil Tekka perform at Rolling Loud, I was very convinced that this was a very real thing, that he was not a flash in the pan. So I can't imagine that, this like, I just feel like album sales really seems like kind of like a silly metric for people to be so fucking concentrated on. And that, like, why do we care? We care so much. It's like the only thing we care about. We're asking to be disappointed too, because we all know that like Lil Tekka's relevance does not really like his album sales don't really tell us that much about his relevance, but also a little bit. It tells you something, but also a lot of the album sales over the past couple of years have been so inflated by the bundling and the merch deals and everything that it's kind of like, then when you see somebody like okay, even the 6ix9ine album, like it didn't get the effect of the bundling and it didn't get effect of any playlisting and stuff. And then he comes out and he does like 30K or 40K or whatever it was, and people are laughing at him like that's incredibly terrible. But the truth is that once you remove all those other things, it's actually not that bad. And we probably might not ever see that many people doing 400, 500K first week outside of obviously like the Drakes and the whoever's, just because it's like, once you can't bundle, it just becomes a lot harder to do these like really large numbers that we've kind of gotten used to seeing.
So I don't know if this is a conversation that we've already had before, but so what is one stream worth? Like, what is that? How many times does someone have to play a fucking song for it to be like, this is one whatever unit sold?
I mean, people do the math. I've never been
like, I don't know it, so I'm like,
I've never been a person who's like paying attention.
I think
like,
that,
I find out what people's albums sold when Academics announces it on Instagram or Twitter. Realistically,
this is a new idea I want to like introduce. Instead of albums sold, no one's buying fucking records. No one's buying shit. It should just be how many streams.
No, but it is this, like a certain amount of streams consolidates and counts as one copy sold.
That's what I'm saying. Is that's stupid. Like, who's making that metric? It's like, what, you have to listen to a song 10,000 times for it to be one unit sold? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I'd rather just know how many times it's streamed.
Yeah,
that's what matters more.
That would be like
that matters more.
But then they're just going to be giving you bigger numbers. They're just going to be saying, "Oh, like the new Lil Uzi album streamed 200 million songs," versus when they say the Lil Uzi album sold 300,000 copies. That's like a consolidation of the album sales and the streams.
Well, I think that they should make it more clear to the consumers what equals one album sold, and maybe I'll do that for you guys next week, and I'll come back with that information.
The question is like, what do we have? What else do we have to judge an artist on in hip hop, because everything is sort of all over the place, like to really give us an idea of like who is in what bracket of putting shit out. Like I noticed like the YoungBoy album, he's like one of the biggest rappers in the world. He did 135K first week. I'm sure that was adversely affected by like the new bundling rules and whatnot, but
yeah,
I don't know. I just I don't know. It's like a big part of me does not give two fucks about any of this. Like in terms of the album sales, it just seems like kind of a silly metric for so many people to be like hanging their hat on. And like, you wonder to what extent the fans really care, or that the fans have kind of been like brainwashed into thinking they should care about.
Me personally, I don't give a fuck, but I think I've been a little bit brainwashed into caring about it, so that I'm in the know of like, oh, this person is at a 300K racket and this one's at a 30, and like, it's all fucking stupid. Because in reality, like these records sold, like how much of that money is really going into their pockets? Maybe what we should be measuring and
bank account. Every rapper has to send me their bank account every month.
Facts, that too. But what Russ said is like, you know, are you able to sell out X amount of people at a show by yourself? I think that's the metric of like how hot you really are.
But that's why I think it's so funny when you see like rappers who've never really been focused on merch, and all of a sudden they're doing these big ass merch drops, and it's like,
they suck.
Well, yeah, but it's because they're not touring. There are a lot of rappers who, when I think about the business that they have, and I know how much their lifestyle costs, and I know how many different expenses they have, and it's like, okay, your music's not really streaming right now. You can't do shows. Where is the money coming from? There is no justifiable way. Like, you might have been making like many hundreds of thousands of dollars per month a couple of years ago, and now it's like there's nothing. And that just, there's certain people that I got my eye on, and I don't want to fucking name them, but I'm just wondering like how long until this sort of falls apart. And there's probably a lot of artists who are hurting right now and they don't want to admit it.
Yeah, no, I was talking with some of my friends about just being an artist in general and how much money you can make, and like it's just like, you know, because Blasey does clothes and all his friends are like have brands and whatnot. Like, you could be a pop-in brand with 16,000 followers.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you can make, if you are an artist with a rapper with 16K, you're laughed at. You're a fucking nobody. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know, just like you.
But people don't follow brands on Instagram like the way that they follow, you know, characters, personalities, rappers. Like, I feel like,
I think you follow your favorite brand to see when they're dropping.
Some people do, but I've always been amazed at the extent to which some very popular brands just don't really have that significant of social media followings. And then also, I feel like in some way, if you're really like a fucking fashion brand, you almost don't want to have that, because it's almost like easier to make stuff that people are going to think is dope when you have like 20K versus when you have 2 million. Once your brand gets to that level of having like millions of followers, you got a store on Fairfax, you got fucking you know, all these, you know, like brands just get too immersed in this whole like business thing, and then it's just really, really hard to make people think that their designs are interesting and cool. I
think that that's a very interesting topic that you brought up, because when you're talking about brands with 2 million whatever followers and whatnot, that's when you're at obviously the upper echelon, where you're kind of like making clothes for the general public at that point, you know? And so I think that's where brands need to decide like where exactly they want to be. Do they want to be a Zoomies brand, or do they still want to be cool and underground like FTP, you know?
But you know what's weird is that there's a significant amount of brands that do sell to Zoomies and stuff, and I don't feel like they really get that much of a negative association from it, because so many people have no idea what is being sold at Zoomies, because who the fuck goes to the mall? Who's paying attention to what's at Zoomies or Hot Topic or whatever? Like fucking people just don't really know, because at times we have sold on some shit stuff to Zoomies, I think it was Zoomies. I don't fucking know. I wasn't really involved in it, but it's like I
think it was Zoomies.
You sell them that shit, you get the check, and then you know nobody ever mentions it to you. Like I swear, in my fucking time selling on some shit stuff to Zoomies, we have had like a handful of people send me like a fucking shitty screenshot of it, and it's kind of like, you know, like the stuff sells. Like it's not like they're trying to return it or like tell us that they don't want any more of it. It's just kind of like it's a different world that is not maybe going to go to social media to show you that stuff.
That's so weird, because when brands talk about like, oh, I'm going to sell to Zoomies, they act like it's like the death of their brand. But you're right. I haven't been inside of Zoomies and I don't know how long, and I don't know anyone that goes to Zoomies and tells me what brands are in there.
Right. But it is weird though, because I feel like if they had FTP at Zoomies, I don't think it would last. I don't think it could last long and have FTP have the same brand image and reputation that they have right now.
It would be an explosion. People would be so fucking pissed.
If V-Lone was in Zoomies.
I can kind of see it being in Zoomies.
Well, with them doing all the artist merch collabs, I kind of agree with you that almost seems like it could. But no, it would be like the V-Lone Zoomies drop. Ugh, yeah, it does not sound like a good future for
because
V-Lone.
You could just like low key, like kind of what you guys did, just sell your shit into Zoomies, or even make Zoomies branded or like make stuff specifically for the stuff you're selling to Zoomies. Right. That's different from your regular.
If Zoomies was going to do a contract with V-Lone to do a V-Lone Zoomies drop, I guarantee you it would have to be in the contract that it needs to be promoted X amount of times on the V-Lone social media, because in that situation, it's super easy to just say like, okay, we did that. I'm not promoting it at all. Yeah. And because we never promoted that we were in Zoomies, and that's why nobody ever said anything about it. If we were telling all our fans, go to Zoomies, cop our shit, it would have had a different effect. Because like we would rather you go to the website and buy something, even though I don't think there's anything on the website right now.
V-Lone Zoomies collab.
I mean, when you see like H&M Mason Margiela, then anything's possible, right?
Yeah, H&M Alexander Wang.
Yeah, but Travis Scott McDonald's is like H&M Alexander Wang.
It's
you
not,
know,
it's not.
It kind of is.
It's not, because
it's the coolest person in the space working with the lamest person in the space, but somehow because they are so big. Cool. And them being able to make McDonald's a little bit cool, or make H&M a destination where people want to go for some period of time, somehow that is just the coolest thing for them. Like that they were able to have that power over the shitty brand that nobody really loves that much.
Look, this is what happened. H&M, I don't think it's the worst place to shop ever, okay? And the reason why people wanted that collab so bad is because it made it affordable for people that couldn't buy Alexander Wang. You know what I mean? And it's not equivalent to Travis Scott doing the McDonald's thing, because McDonald's is a fucking burger restaurant. It's like, the reason why it was so like groundbreaking for us as fans is because McDonald's is this huge, probably the biggest corporation in the world, and like teaming up with someone like Travis Scott, who like, I don't know, we've seen grow up into this mega superstar. So I think that's, I don't know, it showed kids like anything is possible. Literally.
Yeah. No, that is why it's a flex for Travis Scott, is because it's like, look at this unbelievable thing that you could have never imagined happening.
That's why people loved it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why people love it.
But it's him sort of like renting out his cool factor, but somehow in this bizarre hellscape that we call America, this is actually like good for his brand.
He's just so cool that he can do anything and make it cool.
I wonder if they should have a Travis Scott ride at Disneyland. I'm trying to think of where he goes after McDonald's.
I think
to be the biggest rapper in the world.
It would make more sense to do it at Universal Studios.
Right by my crib.
Yep.
Every time I drive by
Disney's too Disney, you know what I mean?
I drive past Universal Studios every time I leave here, going to my house, and every single time it weirds me out. Like, it's so strange that I live this close.
Are they still closed?
Huh?
Are they closed?
I think that the actual ride part is, but you can walk around the main the city walk part.
What is it called? Fucking theme park is closed.
I think so.
Damn.
I'm not really a theme park guy that much.
I love theme parks so much. It's like my favorite thing ever.
I don't really get into
Universal Horror Nights. Oh, love it.
Really?
I hate the rides. I mean, I hate the lines.
The lines.
Yeah, they're way too long.
You ever get the no line pass?
No, but I pretended to sprain my ankle, so I have a wheelchair pass.
Wow.
It was Houseful's idea. Everyone, don't get mad at me.
You still have the wheelchair pass, even though you allegedly sprained your ankle?
No, it says the date on it. You can't fucking bring it back, unfortunately. But I would love to get the for lifer.
Wow. Sometimes I feel like just going there more just because it's kind of nearby. Like maybe I should just be up in there. I like it. Yeah.
It's fun.
Head down Ventura. we going over here. You got more topics? What else we got?
I mean, I don't know. I've tried my hardest, guys. There's not much going on, I feel like.
Well, there's Kanye exposing all these contracts. I'm not sure. Well, you used to work at Good Music. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I also signed this crazy NDA stuff where I think I'm not supposed to talk about it, so I don't know.
If they have time to sue you, then I would be impressed.
I hope they don't sue me, but
I don't think you've said anything, but
I don't think I've said shit. But what do I think about it? I mean, I saw your No Jumper News where Adam Killa was like, "Well, you were trying to sign me to 32K, da da da,"
right.
And I know that's an argument that people are trying to use against Kanye. Like, you want to fight for your freedom now, but what about the contracts you were trying to sign people under Good Music to?
Yeah, have we heard designers' thoughts on all this? Because I would love to see designers' contracts. I read this whole Vice article about Kanye's contracts that basically says that Kanye has the most advantageous, in favor of the artist contracts imaginable. Nobody in the history of fucking recorded music has basically been able to negotiate terms the way that he has.
Yeah, he has all the power in the world.
Right. And it's yes, you were able to negotiate these terms because you're huge, but I don't know. I mean, it's just I don't know. I just really have so little faith that any of this is going to transpire into any sort of meaningful change for the artists.
I hope so. I'm gonna feel positive. I like that he everyone wants to say that this is a selfish thing because he's a narcissist and only thinks about himself, but I mean, I do like that he's trying to rally the artists together. He's even talking about Taylor. I'm a family. Scooter Braun is my family friend. I'll try to get your masters back. I think he's trying to do good.
I loved that Boosie called Kanye out, said this is you're obsessed with Drake. What the fuck is wrong with you bringing up Drake, etc. And then Drake liked the post.
I think he is obsessed with Drake.
Drake handing out the he doesn't do that lightly.
He definitely doesn't.
Motherfucker been following me for years. I don't think I ever got a like.
Wow, you never got a Champagne Poppy
I don't think I ever got a like.
Damn.
I might be wrong, but
that's fucked up.
Somebody make an account, only follow Champagne Poppy, and then go through my entire timeline and tell me if you see any post that he's ever liked. I don't really think I've seen it. That's okay.
What if he liked and commented on one time, but then you missed it and it was a year ago and he was like, "Yo, I want to interview."
I think
and you missed that.
How much
would you shoot yourself in the penis?
What if he had commented, "I want an interview"?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would shoot myself in the penis if I missed that. No, I mean, I feel like the best thing that Drake ever said to me was, "You be going crazy with that shit about." But full disclosure,
out of all the things that you do in life, he commented about your goddamn stupid stick
It wasn't
ball.
on the gram though. It was I posted a story of me doing a trick, and you could hear a Drake song playing in the background. So I tagged him and then shrunk it down so nobody else could see it. Low key clout chaser move. And then he
Is that how I get tagged in things where I don't see my name?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Definitely. If you just tap around on the photo, eventually you're going to tap on somebody's name. Because I'll forever be tagged in like some picture of some girl or some shit. And then I fucking like look at it and I tap it and there's 40 fucking accounts. It's like me and V-Loan and fucking 5,000 other things.
You know what pisses me off about people that do that too? Is that they'll do that and like make my name so invisible that I can't see. But then I'll click on the thing to see like what it is. And then they post that I saw their story. I'm like...
Can't believe that he saw my story. It's like, all right. That's cool, I guess.
Do you have any topics you want to talk about?
I feel like at some point throughout this week, there were probably topics that I was planning on bringing up, but then, you know, I'm just in here freestyling.
Make sure to text us. How long have we been streaming for?
Not 2 hours yet. Hour and a half, right?
Yeah. What do you think about this this dynamic between you and I without house phone here?
I feel like I'm less interrupted, which is nice. I feel like I'm able to like get my thoughts out with a little bit more time, because I feel like one of House Phone's things, and we could say this because he's presumably still in a fucking ketamine coma, is that he kind of like likes to finish the sentence or like insert like where he thinks the sentence is going to go before I finish it, which as a person, I want to feel comfortable taking gaps in what I'm saying. Like I need to be able to like take a breath without somebody sort of like interjecting. And now talking is good, but I do feel like when we have two people like this, it's easier for us to sort of like flesh out our ideas. Whereas that's why I've always been hesitant for us to bring in a fourth. Because I feel like once we add a fourth person to it, it's just insanity. It's just like really hard for...
Yeah, it's like two people talking here, two people talking there, like across the table, and yeah, it gets crazy.
That doesn't really happen with us, but that's one thing that makes me like... No, like a separate thing that doesn't really happen with us, but it makes me like so angry that I could put my head through the fucking wall, is when you're doing a podcast and you have like the conversation and then two other people just start like who have mics are having a separate conversation at the same time, and it's like, what are you thinking? Like, how could you think that it's okay to just continue having your own conversation when there's like a real conversation with the guests going on? I've had that happen to me a few times.
I feel like it was like YGs and like homies or something, and you were probably too scared to tell them to shut the fuck up. But if it was like me and Houseman, you'd be like, rawr.
YG has never been here for the record.
Whatever. Someone scary with scary friends.
No, I don't.
You were like, excuse me, Mr. YG?
No,
Mr.
because
Young
the
Gangster?
Scariest people are not the talkative ones. People who...
Facts.
You know, like normally the people that you're kind of like intimidated by are not like loose with their words.
Exactly, you're right. Yeah, they're more careful and they're very like the silent, deadly killer.
Yeah, I can't even remember the last time that happened, but it's definitely like, because that's why like on Drink Champs, like Drink Champs is fascinating to me because it's like it sort of started out as this sprawling, ridiculous podcast with like 40 people like yelling and taking shots during it, and then like over time, I feel like they've sort of had to just like kind of rein it in over and over. And like, I mean, in the early days of No Jumper, that was like how we ever even ended up podcasting together. Is I was trying to figure out what the fuck I was doing podcasting wise, so I would just let random people on the show and just like
I was definitely a random.
Yeah, here's this girl that I just met on Tinder 2 days ago, and now she's sitting next to me on the podcast. We never even hooked up or anything. She's just here. And that was just like, oh, like I told this girl I was going to hang out with her. I'm doing a podcast. She's going to sit there and we're just going to see what happens. Come through. And it was just like, I don't know that it ever really like worked out well.
I mean, I got you to where you're here now.
Go watch the original Smoke Perp interview and listen to Hesh screaming over everything I say. Like I say coolest podcast in the world, and he just screams, coolest podcast in the world. Like it's so crazy. That was definitely a moment where I was like, I need more control over how this unfolds.
I love Hesh. Hesh is the most talkative person I've ever been around in my entire life.
Hesh retweets and quote tweets people with like 50 followers, but who are like LA, like real to the soil LA people. I feel like I see a lot of people on Twitter that I would probably never see if it wasn't for Hesh interacting with them, and I see a lot of like really like weird hood videos that I would probably never see otherwise. So
yeah, following him on Twitter is definitely an excitement for my day.
Yeah, he's in the streets, so yeah.
Definitely.
I need people who are in the streets because I kind of, you know, I'm not in the streets at all anymore.
I'm at home.
I never see anyone that I don't like go out of my way to see. Like that's one thing that occurred to me when I was in Laguna is like, I'm like seeing all these like babies, like parents with their kids and like various ages of kids. And I'm just thinking like, I never see people with their kids. Like I never get to see what parenting kind of like looks like in my day-to-day life. But like seeing that and being like, oh damn, like that's a dad with his 1-year-old. That's a dad with his 4-year-old. Like this is
I feel you.
Very much this insane learning curve that I'm about to have to take on. And, you know, I wonder to what extent I'm just only going to be able to talk about the kid on the podcast, because I feel like it's going to be so interesting to me that I'm not going to be able to shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah, you're going to talk about it all the time. But I'm okay. I like kids.
Yeah.
I just am never around kids because I don't know anyone with kids really, or like see them often. So when I'm around kids, I don't know what to do. I just talk to them like an adult. I'm like, you like be a young boy?
Yeah. I wonder that so much, like just everything about it. And like, it's just like, that's where my mind is like constantly at lately, is just like, what the fuck is this going to be like? Like, what is my life going to be like? How am I have so many hobbies. There's the kendama stuff, the BMX stuff, the poker stuff, the fucking, I don't know, just
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go. Oh my God. All these things. And I just wonder which of these things needs to go on the shelf.
All of them.
For me to like be able to focus on, it really makes me feel like I'm gonna have to do this audit on my whole existence and be like, okay, these are the things I still want to do. I have much less time now because I want to spend a lot of time with the kid. So these are the things that are kind of gonna have to go on the shelf. Now, that being said, Pokemon Go will make an arrival in the child's life as soon as they are ready to meet Squirtle, to meet Charmander, to meet Bulbasaur, etc. Because I just really want my child to have a strong relationship to the Pokemon franchise. It's very important to me.
I love that. The fuck was I gonna say?
I don't know, but
oh my God, it's just on the tip of my tongue.
Pause. Yeah, I don't know the Pokemon thing, because I've seen it with Josh's kids, like that.
Oh, they're so cute.
That's like a really cool thing that kind of brings their family together, because it's like you can have the kids who appreciate Pokemon Go on the sense of like, oh, it's cute, it's funny, it's a little character, whatever. Like his kid Henry, they take the fucking we got him this encyclopedia of Pokemon. And his kid, the older one, Henry, was like 6, he memorized this fucking thing instantly. It happened so fast that he's telling me about the weights and the heights of all the Pokemon.
Okay, that's crazy.
He's naming things that I've like Pokemon I've never even heard of. He's telling me everything about it. But then, like, the parents, it is a fun game for adults as well. So it's like that's something that, like, I remember there was like Pokemon Go. There was like an event over the course of a weekend. I forget exactly what it's called, Go Fest or whatever. And they had to do it. Normally, like, people have to travel to a location to do it, but then it was just like done remotely because of COVID. And they told me that it was like the most fun that the kids had ever had, and it was just playing Pokemon Go all weekend on their accounts in the house.
I love that Pokemon, the franchise, is becoming like this generational thing, because it really kind of a little bit died out after, like, when I grew up. It was like, there was a huge Pokemon craze when I was a kid. The cards and the fucking TV show, the movie, the fucking the Game Boy game. But like, I'm glad that with the revival of like Pokemon Go and Pokemon Shield and all this shit, Pokemon Eevee, that it's like really like this generational thing. What's that new RPG game coming out? Like, is it No, it's not Pokemon, right? But there's like a Zelda type game. Yuri, do you know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to think. Because if they put out a new Zelda, oh yeah, it's going up.
I'm sorry, I'm putting my fatherhood duties on the shelf for a while. I'm gonna have to put a lot of time into that, because Zelda for the Switch. I mean, I don't know how much I talked about it on here, but there was like a good like month and a half of my life where that was like pretty much all I was interested in doing.
Dude, I just got to Hell Mountain or Burning Mountain or whatever the fuck it's called. I just kept burning up, and I don't want to collect like the leaves or embers to like not be burned. And I just kept burned so fast, and like I don't want to cheat and go and look at the fucking walkthroughs for what I'm supposed to do. So I want to like, but that's where I gave up.
Doing all the shrines.
Yeah.
I would start to do the shrines. Yeah. It would take me an hour and a half. Then at a certain point, I'm like, bro, I want to finish this game before I'm 76 years old. Maybe I'm just going to look up these shrines. And then I didn't really, like, I watched so many videos about how to get all the shrines in Breath of the Wild. And it was like all YouTube was recommending to me. And also I played the game like at least a year after it came out. Yeah. Which it would be a lot of fun to play it like as everybody else was having these first experiences with it. But I got Final Fantasy VII when that came out, and I think the problem was that I tried to play it on stream, and that's one thing that I've realized is that like when a game first comes out, you think like, oh, this is a good idea, I'm gonna play this on stream, and then you realize like, no, I suck at this. It's really embarrassing and frustrating to play this on stream.
I feel like there's just some games where you cannot stream and be, I mean, maybe unless you're a fucking amazing streamer and you're able to like interact with your chat while being super absorbed in this game. But like, I don't think that I'm cut out to be a gamer streamer because when I'm playing a game, I'm in the fucking zone, and I completely disregard my chat. I look at it fucking 5 minutes later. Is this streamer ever gonna read the chat? Da, 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 da. I'm like, oh fuck.
I hear that. Yeah. I don't like I plan on continuing to stream poker, but I've really kind of fallen back from it. And at first it was because I really felt like I needed to learn more and study more and get better.
Yeah.
I feel like I've covered a lot of that ground that I was not confident in, like just situations in poker. But then still, there's a part of me that doesn't want the viewers to really be able to see me going through these emotional fucking highs and lows.
Right,
Like
that's interesting though for viewers.
yeah, it is, but it's a long, strenuous process. Because a lot of times, like, if I play poker on a Sunday, I start at about 8 in the morning, and realistically, I'm probably going to get done around 8 p.m. Spending
That's
that.
crazy.
Yeah, I know, but that's how tournaments are. Is that a lot of these tournaments go for like 10 hours? So it's kind of like, but I don't, I feel very indebted to the audience that if I'm going to keep playing, I have to stay on and continue to let them in on my experience with this. And it also is like my audience is just not educated about poker, and a very small percentage of my audience gives a fuck about this. And I see it in like everything. Like I've done videos that I thought were going to be really big. It doesn't really happen. It's just, it's a foreign game to a lot of people because it's been illegal in America for like 10 years.
Poker?
Online poker.
Oh.
But now there's
I was like, how are you playing then?
because there's new sites that operate pretty much just with Bitcoin. So it's kind of like the government can't do anything to stop them, and they're located in Costa Rica, and
Interesting. Yeah, I was just about to ask, like, how many of your viewers on there even give a fuck about what you're doing on poker, whereas just being like, yo, Adam, listen to my mixtape.
Yeah, but that's actually kind of why I started playing poker was because I was like, you know what? If I play online poker, I can play people's donations and be able to play poker, which I actually genuinely enjoy doing. And it's like if I have 6 tables of poker going, then that to me is like a good amount of stuff that I'm doing with that part of my mind, and then I can also play the songs during it, and it feels like a reasonable thing to all do it all at the same time. My problem is that once I start playing poker, if there's 6 tournaments I want to play, there's probably like 6 more, and then it's like really hard to play 12 at the same time and also play people's music. Whereas I could play 12 no problem on just my computer by myself.
I can't even comprehend that, playing 12 different game rounds of like the card game.
I honestly think that if I were to learn poker now at this point in my life, it would be really hard for me to play that many tables. But because I learned it when I was like 19, and my brain was still soft enough that I was able to. Yuri, can you grab me a cigarette? You want one?
Ugh.
What?
In here?
Yeah.
Since when are we smoking cigarettes?
This
feels like the downtown store, just ashing on the fucking table.
No, I have a coffee cup for that and an ashtray that I probably will just use the coffee cup anyway. But there's something that has occurred in my brain where I now like to keep a pack of cigarettes around in the office for when I'm going to do interviews. And this is the reason why. Is because I smoke blunts or spliffs. So my body is like addicted to the tobacco to a certain extent. I only want one. Please don't give me 2. God damn it. He gave me the whole pack. And a cool lighter. But okay, if I can like smoke a cigarette before the interview,
then you don't need to smoke weed.
It gives me a big amount of like relief without the being high thing. Cause I don't really like want to like even just hit the blunt a few times before I do an interview, because then I'm gonna be kind of high. And a lot of times with the interviews, I'm anxious before it. Like there's like a part of me that really like cares so much about how the interview comes out that I don't want to be high, because then I start to like overthink shit.
Sounds like you have a nicotine addiction.
Yeah, definitely. Just a little bit.
That's like literally the case study of it. Like I need it so I could calm down and not be shaky.
But I don't really like worry about it because I never think about having a cigarette at home. And
because you're at home, you're smoking weed.
Right, but even then, like we were on vacation in Laguna, it was like I wouldn't smoke weed all day, and then I would roll a blunt once we got home after dinner or whatever, like 8-9 p.m. And I smoke the blunt and then I go to bed.
Because you're relaxing.
Yeah, it's easy for me to not smoke weed when I'm relaxing.
Yeah, I wonder if Blasy's gonna smoke weed in Tulum. Did you smoke weed in Tulum?
I brought a weed pen because I feel like anywhere besides like Japan and Dubai, I can like bring the weed pen and nobody cares.
Yeah.
But those are places where if you go there,
Koreatown.
I went to Japan, I did not bring even a weed pen.
Yeah.
I was too scared.
Korea's like that too.
Is it really?
Yeah.
This Zippo fucking stinks like fucking whatever it is. Oh,
like
look at that! Look at that flint sitting there. Ooh.
This is so weird seeing you smoke a cigarette.
Podcast stuff. Joe Budden smokes cigarettes, but he has never smoked a cigarette on the podcast that I've seen.
Oh yeah, he is a cigarette smoker. It's
Huge.
so funny that we always fucking talk about. We're such little fangirls, boys.
Because House Phone's not around to derail our JBP fandom.
Do they have merch? Because I would buy something.
We should. I feel like the Joe Budden podcast is, yeah, that's my favorite podcast. So it's
Same.
like, it doesn't really seem weird to me to talk about it. Like, I'm willing to sort of
And
like
we're podcasters.
give him
on a
that title
podcast.
of like, and to be honest, this podcast is like modeled after the Joe Budden podcast because I've always interviewed rappers. This was our attempt at like, okay,
A sit
we're
down.
going to do something consistent. And it is nice. You know, it's nice to have that consistent stuff because otherwise like every interview I do could get 1 million views or it could get 20,000 views and that's fine. But it's nice to have consistent
Exactly.
stuff.
A consistent fucking show with the same fucking people, the same time, the same day a week. Yeah.
I'm going to mention this because we're super deep into this podcast, so I don't feel like that many people will necessarily like see or care. But
What are you talking about? Our watch time metric isn't all the way through.
100% the whole way through. No, but the fact that AD, we've been talking and he's down, we're going to give him a night.
Ooh, yeah, you told us
So I'm
about
excited about that. Like this
That's
is Tuesday
awesome.
night. I think he might do Wednesday. And I just want to like, you know, kind of try to help like that would be such a cool thing if there was like a different thing going on every night on the No Jumper channel of like a different conversation. You know, I think that would
Totally.
be cool.
that. So with I keep wanting to call him OD. With AD,
He is OD.
He is OD.
He might OD on tequila this weekend.
I hope not. Oh God. No, he's an OD on Jamaican weed.
Yeah, I do. AD is a funny type of weed smoker to me because he will never, I don't think, I would guess that he's probably never bought weed, but he will smoke if there is weed. And he will be like, what the fuck if you don't pass him the blunt?
Yeah.
And we're always like, oh shit, we forgot. Also, I do want to shout out AD's merch. I'm not 100% sure where you can get it, but I know that he has been selling it through his Instagram. So if you go to IITSAD, he is selling the shirt that I'm wearing right now with some sort of like baby crip on it.
Is his show gonna be like kind of like ours in a sense that it's gonna be consistent co-hosts, or he's gonna bring on different friends and have different kind of conversations? Do
We've
you
been
know?
discussing him having a co-host of some sort. I think that I would like to see him sort of like interview people that like he thinks are relevant in like the LA street rap, et cetera, world. And like to see them actually like bring people on, I think would be interesting. But also it'd be sick if they could do episodes just chatting like we do too. But I think that, because that's really what we're trying to do with the Selena thing. Obviously that kind of went left, but
Are you gonna do the Monday thing too, or is that not confirmed? You don't want to talk about it?
I don't want to talk about that one just
Okay.
yet because I feel like the AD one is like kind of priority. I don't want to
Yeah.
like fucking get people's hopes up or whatever, but
I feel you.
I don't know. I think like for the fans, that would be cool if they could just kind of, can you imagine if every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m., there was always like a different live show to watch on here? I just feel like that it would be a great way to sort of like encourage and like increase the amount of like, you know, just to like give more people that we fuck with like a fucking platform.
Yeah, it's like a TV network, and it's like when I saw Rolling Loud doing their weekly or every day of the week they're doing a different show on Twitch. I'm like, No Jumper should be doing that.
What are the shows like on Twitch?
They said like, okay, I don't know obviously the dates and the times, but like one day they're doing in the studio and they have one of their producers and like different rappers come through and they do like a studio show. One day it's like a podcast with like all the heads like Tariq and
They should do that. That's smart.
They're doing the podcast, and then they're doing another day where they do like a competition for a rapper. Like
Is it Tarek and Matt, or is it
Yeah.
they're together on the podcast?
Yeah,
Okay.
with two other people. Might be Scheme. I'm not sure.
Really?
But yeah, you should
Scheme
check.
on it is a good idea.
Yeah, you should check out the stuff. I was like, oh, that's very interesting. They announced it when they did their Rolling Loud virtual event.
Really? That's
Yeah.
dope. All right.
That was pretty interesting.
Shout out to them for that. That's a good
Yeah.
idea. They should stick with that.
Totally.
Yeah. I don't really have a ton of interviews lined up for this week, so it's kind of unfortunate that one bailed. But I did interview the lady Robin Colombo from McMillions. You see McMillions?
Yes, and the name sounds so familiar. I'm trying to remember
She
who
had the
she
red
is.
hair, and she was sitting on the red couch. She was the most animated person probably on the entire thing. Besides that one FBI agent, God, he would be great to get on.
Oh my God, the fucking guy. Yes, he's the one
He
that
was so
wanted
funny.
his whole life to be a fucking undercover spy. Yes, he was great. Robin,
That guy.
Was she one of the winners? Sorry.
She was the wife of the gangster.
Oh, okay. I remember.
Because what was the John or no? There was two Jimmys or Johns or whatever the fuck it was. I forget. But
yes,
she
I
was.
remember.
She was the one who was married to the gangster dude. So she had some stories to tell.
Wow, that's interesting.
But I think I mostly got the interview because her kid is a big fan of No Jumper.
That's how you get a lot of like the older interviews, huh?
Yeah. Shout out to Francesco because he's the one who sort of.
Francesco.
And I now, after smoking a cigarette, I feel as disgusted as you probably felt in seeing me pull that out.
It's the smell is just. Ugh.
I
I feel like I'm in like an ashtray right now.
We watched this movie, The Firm, last night with Tom Cruise.
Yep.
Phenomenal movie. Loved it. So weird to see people smoking indoors in there. I don't care. It's never going to stop fucking blowing my mind seeing people smoking like hospitals and shit.
The hospitals is actually no. When I was in China and my mom had like some kind of like allergic rash on her hand, my friend who speaks speaks Chinese, he took us to the hospital so that he could translate for us. Pulled out his fucking cigarette, started smoking. And I'm like,
in the hospital?
Yes. In like the waiting room thing. And I was like, are you joking?
That's unbelievable. Have you seen Milan?
No, but I heard it's really good.
The new one?
I heard it's really good.
I'm
but then I also
interested.
heard that people are mad at it.
People are mad because they filmed part of it in the place where they have the detention centers for the Uyghur Muslims, which is, by the way, one of the greatest travesties that is currently going on planet Earth. You should definitely educate yourself about it. It's a human rights crisis beyond anything that you could fucking imagine going on Earth right now. But they thanked the local government, who is in charge of these detention camps, basically.
Yeah,
they thanked
that's
them.
crazy.
And the Disney did not realize that was in the credits, and the outrage came out after, and they weren't ready for it. So yeah, that's the whole
that's
thing.
what they're mad about. I didn't know that.
Right.
Yeah, I heard that they got some like historic facts wrong, and that's what they're upset about.
I read an article last night that said that they actually submitted the film to the Chinese government before it came out to make some changes in it, and like the Chinese government did not want them to have the movie be based around any specific Chinese dynasty. And also there was a kiss scene that was removed because the Chinese audiences were not comfortable with it.
That's crazy.
Interesting, right?
That's insane. They had to get it cleared with the government beforehand.
I don't know that they had to, because that's very out of the ordinary to submit it to a government. But I guess like the Chinese government is so ruthless and oppressive that they wanted their cosign.
I think that they had to do that because if not, they wouldn't like allow it to play in China.
Yeah, I mean, China is so unbelievably particular about how things involving their culture are presented, and like the NBA thing that went down was like a huge example of that. And they lost hundreds of millions of dollars by just one NBA team manager or whatever dissing them. Insane. But also insane the cowardice involved in that. I feel like at some point in our lives, they're going to look at the way that all these American corporations just continue to engage in business with China, and it's morally abhorrent.
What the fuck is going on with TikTok? They're all trying to tell us that it's not. They were putting out all these reports that don't delete it if you still want it because it's not going to be on the App Store. I saw this one YouTuber talk about how their phone was trying to be hacked from fucking I don't know where in China, and they were like, oh my god, it's TikTok, so they deleted their TikTok. And so I got scared. I deleted my TikTok too. I never even use it. I look on the App Store just to see if I can download again. It's on there.
It's still on there because it was about to the portion of the TikTok's data on American citizens was supposed to begin to be handled by an American corporation or whatever, but then that was basically shut down. Like I guess TikTok's or the Chinese government was not okay with the terms that were laid out. We were, for a period of time, paying like a significant amount of money to a firm that was basically taking all of our No Jumper content and sort of transforming it into TikTok-friendly content. And we just made the decision that we're just not going to continue to pay for it. We're at like 140K on TikTok. A big part of why we stopped, though, is because we got our account verified. We immediately completely ceased growing, and we have not had one viral video. We had a couple of videos that hit like a couple million, and then all of a sudden we got verified and it just completely stopped growing. So if anyone has any advice about that, we would love to know how to handle that.
You would think that if you got verified, you would grow in viewership.
Yeah, that's what we were sold on, the idea that we were going to get verified and then the stuff would go more viral. I don't know.
I don't know. There's just like, I just see the weirdest stuff from TikTok get posted onto Twitter, and I'm just like, oh my God. I don't know.
You see that the thing now is that people are mad because it's a TikTok trend to dress up like a ghost, like to just take like a white bed sheet, put it on yourself, and then I think you wear sunglasses or some shit. And people are like trying to relate that to like a KKK thing.
Oh my God.
It's like, bro, people have been
No,
dressing like a
if they're
ghost for a
mad
long
about
time.
that, they should be mad about the weird ass POV videos that they like to make. It's like POV. I mean, I kind of talked about on here before, but like POV of my of your psychotic boyfriend that just raped you or something like that. It's like they have these weird ass like POV videos of like, oh, like your teacher trying to seduce you, or like just weird ass not okay shit.
I can say that I looked at TikTok semi-consistently for maybe like a week, and then at a certain point I just totally lost interest.
Not for me. I don't know.
I don't really like feel like I need more apps
That's
to
how I feel.
just show me random people dancing. I don't think I need it.
Yeah, I don't think I can incorporate one more app in my life that I have to like update and care about other people on there.
This is why we're old now.
I feel it. I feel it. Can you believe that that kids growing up now have never experienced life without social media and the internet? Like, it's still so mind-blowing to me. Because I talk to kids that are like maybe 10 years younger than me or something, and like they're YouTubers now or whatever. I'm like, I can't even like, I don't know. Like, you never like ran around outside.
I know, like my childhood socializing, when I think about what I did after school when I was in elementary school, was like I would go outside and hang out with the kids on the block.
Same. We would all ride bikes, pretend everyone is like your mom, your dad, your sister, you're this, and like we all like collect rocks.
You go to the woods, look under some rocks, you know, sort of like hang out, like maybe you like find like some beer bottles, you smash them on a rock.
Right? Or like light things on fire.
You know, we play football. I don't remember ever really like learning how to play football, but I would just sort of like fall in line, like play basketball in some random kid's yard because he had a hoop. And it's crazy because when I think about my kid, like the idea of them just like walking out the door of our house and just going down the block, there's no other kids outside playing on the block. Who the fuck are these kids going to go play with? It just seems kind of bizarre.
That stopped when I was in like high school. I feel like they're stopping kids outside.
My kid is going to have so many goddamn extracurricular activities.
That's like when I was growing up. I had like ballet, violin, piano, tap dance. And oh God, it was too crazy.
I just feel like filling your kid's life with like stuff that's going to teach them skills or like familiarize them with things that that will make them better people and they might eventually be able to like, you know, use in some way is like incredibly important. So
yeah. I mean, I think it's good because when you're a kid, you could pick up on things so fast, and there are some kids that are like tennis fucking legends, and like you have to try to put them in all these different types of extracurriculars to see what they're good at and what they like and what they want to, you know, pursue.
Definitely. I just like my parents, I feel like they had me playing basketball and baseball and like were not able to conceive of the fact that I was more interested in video games and drawing and writing and like more insular pursuits. Like that didn't really make sense to them. They thought that I had to be able to play sports in order to fucking become a normal person. And when I think about that with my kid, like if my kid showed some like very strong instincts towards video games and they just wanted, you know, but I think ultimately it's like you just want your kid to have like a balanced life. You can't be like, oh, you like video games? Okay, cool. Just play Fortnite 8 hours a day.
Right.
It's like you need to have some structure because I myself know I have an obsessive personality, and it's like if I'm going to be doing something, a lot of times it will quickly turn into me doing that for an extreme amount of time per day.
Yeah, I've seen you get into things and like it consumes your entire fucking life.
Yes.
It's crazy.
I had a year of Tetris 99, which I don't regret because I felt like I learned so much about Tetris, and I thought it was kind of worthwhile. Even I got nothing out of it, but
you had a good time.
It just quickly went from being like, you know, something that I was like learning about to just like habitual behavior. I get home and I just immediately just start firing.
You're one of those
Tetris.
people where I was watching this weird ass documentary about kids that are like really good at
Rubik's Cube, and the mega autistic kid is like the greatest of all time.
Korean.
Yes, and he like can't have a fucking conversation with you for 2 seconds without it becoming immensely clear. Like,
Yeah.
like yo, he finishes. That was one thing. He finishes doing the Rubik's Cube, and he immediately just starts cranking the Rubik's Cube again.
I feel like you're that, but like a less like
not as
less
extreme, but
yes.
some on that scale.
Yeah, you're on that scale. But I feel like I don't know. I've always wanted to. I don't think that that's a bad thing, having like an obsessive personality, because then you're really driven towards having like this one goal.
But I think that.
But then
like,
when you put it on like a Tetris 99, it's like, what are you doing with your life?
Exactly. Like what is the future for you playing Tetris 99? Or like what? Like I just think balance is incredibly important. And like for me, with my obsessive personality, I feel kind of lucky that I was like forced to be able to moderate that, because
It's good.
wouldn't have done it on its own.
Do you think that if your parents let you pursue art, you would be a tattoo artist now?
I mean, there's a
ever think about
lot.
that?
There's so many directions and ways that I could have seen my life going, because when like around like the age of 13 or 14, I was so obsessed with the internet and like, you know, being in all these chat rooms, and I was starting to play games on the internet and stuff. And then I got in trouble because I went in a Hanson chat room and was talking shit to the Hanson fans, and my parents got rid of fucking
How
the
dare you.
AOL. So then I was like forced to, all of a sudden I was out riding bikes and like actually having a social life. Which when I think about it, I feel like I would have became a hacker and probably like went to prison for some period of time for
I
like,
could see you being a hacker.
oh yeah, I think that was the direction I was kind of going before my parents got rid of the internet for a couple of years. And then I had to like actually go outside and like develop social skills.
Dude, you so would have been involved in the fucking Elon Musk and Kanye West and all that. Like, send this Bitcoin to this address. You would have been part of that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the hacker who does that, you're kind of like the GOAT, because you like compromise some of the most powerful accounts. That would have been cool.
Insane.
I think we did what we had to do here today.
I had to pee so bad for the past hour, but I felt like since there's only you and me, I'm like, fuck, I can't leave.
I'm going to let you go pee first, because you always complain about me leaving the pee in the toilet.
Yes, and there's always little droplets on the fucking thingy, the seat.
That was Yuri.
Whoever's yellow fucking green piss it is. Disgusting.
Okay. I don't drink green and I don't pee green, so I don't know about that.
Do you know that lean is $400 a line now?
Yeah, I've been hearing about that a lot. I'm
Crazy, right?
glad I'm off the market with that stuff. God, that's insane.
I've never done drugs.
Shout out to all the lean heads. Shout out to Icewear Vezo, the drank god.
Shout out to me. I will be streaming your music tonight in maybe like 30 minutes.
Let us pray that House Phone's okay, because God, what the hell could have possibly happened to him?
Zans.
Yeah, could definitely be that.
I'm gonna call him again.
Shout out to House Phone.
Bye, guys.
We'll figure it out sooner or later. If you find House Phone, let us know.